Hey. Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. I'm ready to finish the Arknights event. Oh my goodness, right now it's kind of awkward because mom's actually like cleaning right outside of my room. So, she's cleaning like that one area for some reason. Hey, mother, please hurry up. But it's okay, you know. She'll be confused, but whatever. Time for MT10, birth. The infant severs the umbilical cord, connecting it to God, determined to be born as a human, with all the ugliness, transience, and suffering that entails. Ah, what a wonderful stage to start the night. Birth. Happy birthday. Time to bonk the machine. There's no complicated ceremony, no tedious process to undergo. Federico looks at the frigid information port. All it takes is a flicker of his halo to reveal an infinity of sights.
Halos can transfer this much information this quickly. Neither medical text nor ancient scripture ever described this phenomenon. From antiquity, halos have only ever transferred simple emotions through the process we call empathy. Why is that?
Interaction target information handling capacity insufficient. Pre-interaction information conversion required. Performing information conversion during interaction may cause damage to information processor from interaction target, leading to temporary and/or permanent disability. Anduane Agathangelos is currently in this condition. Federico looks to his side. Anduane is slumped into the floor in dismay, his eyes clouded. Dried rivulets of blood frame his features in a worrying manner. For a moment, he struggles to lift his head, once more pointing his halo at the port, and once more he feebly hangs his head.
Anduane, according to this machine, or rather, the law, you cannot handle any further information, and your prior overuse of Originimarts has already had an adverse effect on your body.
Hello?
You're to stop attempting to access the machine immediately before you cause permanent damage to yourself.
Like, how long were they doing this for? Because it's kind of funny how Anduane's like already in the state. Wow. Evangelista 11, he was there for multiple weeks. Going over and over and over and over. It's like, Anduane, it's been 2 minutes, and look at you now.
More information? No, I still haven't seen anything. I still don't know anything. But this should not be. Why?
And yes, new hat, totally.
These past 10 years, all the suffering, all these sins, was it all just to meet with a silent god? I can't stop here, Federico.
Once more, Anduane Agathangelos stubbornly raises his halo towards the machine.
The child. Is this yet another dream?
The baby. It's not. The law would not construct a dreamscape for you alone. Federico chose to communicate with the law in its own language, while you cannot understand it, nor are you willing to accept such an impersonal tongue. It is you who, word by word, line by line, translate the language into what we see now.
If this is not a dream, then why are you still alive?
Because you wanted me to live, Nurturer.
I set off that bomb myself. You were there.
Not only did you want me to live, you had great expectations of me. Aw, so we couldn't keep the baby? Oh, I'm so sad. I wanted to keep it. And ooh, shiny button. Yes, press the shiny button. Hey, 12 months for the gacha lock. Congratulations. Woohoo. Oh, they're viewing information in different ways. Like, in the cave, maybe he's seeing some vision of some form that he can understand, while Federico is just taking the info head on. He hoped I would live a happy life. He hoped I would break through the dome of the Shrine of Nurtury, that I would fly up and touch the sky. He hoped to see my feathers shine in the sunlight, to see my talons clasp frolicking musk beasts. You looked up at the tallest tree in Terra on the intercity net, didn't you? You thought that since I'm an arbor beast, I would much rather climb a real tree than comfort boughs.
I did. Atop the mountains of Sami, and amidst the forest of Bolivar, there are great trees straight out of legend. Stouter than the Tower of Revelations, taller than the Basilica. I really did think about bringing you to see them. On the net, I saw other arbor beasts up in the canopy crying out at the sun. The sun. I wanted to see you cry out in a carefree joy just like them.
Where did things go wrong from there? Why did you stop treating me as a real life?
You know, don't you?
The funeral. My mother's funeral. No matter, come with me. This time, we shall leave behind no regrets.
What do you mean? Is the funeral still going on?
Oh, that is such a funny thought, and hello. Phoebe's just having a discussion with the Lord. Like a normal discussion. While Anduin just spazzing on the side. The funeral should never end. I wish you could have kept the Arbor Beast. I liked it.
He's unresponsive. Is he suffering from the same condition as the Pope?
Negative. Anduin Agathangelos is still suitable and is currently pre-processing information. Federico Giallo. Prerequisite information synchronization complete. Now, assist in bringing the transfiguration to completion. Now sneeze. One powerful sneeze. Federico has expressed doubt, has even been shaken by past events, but he has never once questioned the law. After all, saints implement the law, while executors enforce it, as is right and good. But now, facing the law itself, he feels only confusion.
I still have doubts. The ultimate purpose of the law is to grant halos to all organic and inorganic matter, this I know. But choosing the Summit of Nations as a method of achieving this, is this a decree of the law?
Affirmative.
It's far too inefficient, and its feasibility is questionable. The Summit was meant to found a Terra-wide religion, something unprecedented in the civilized history of this land. Mere proposals, negotiations, and revelations of miracles will be insufficient to achieve this. Not to mention that according to the information I just received, the moment the very first Sancta received their halos, they abandoned their TCAS mission without the slightest hesitation. If my understanding of this halo is correct, bestowing one on an individual is completely unrelated to their faith. The Summit of Nations, nativity, these may both be based on an unnecessary precondition. I must confirm, what is the true nature of the halo? And what is a law, or rather your self-designation of PCS?
PCS, Personality and Cognition Synchronization System.
That confirms it. My understanding is correct. Since the law is able to synchronize personalities and knowledge, why not simply synchronize everything directly?
First Circumstellar Habitable Zone Autonomous Technology Operation Convention. The synchronization or revision of personality or cognition must be initiated by the target accepting said synchronization or revision.
Convention, a form of regulation. Is the law restricted by any other regulations? Who established this convention? What mechanism ensures it is followed?
The ability to enforce this convention no longer exists.
A regulation that nobody can enforce is pointless. A law unrestricted by this regulation should be able to ignore principles and break taboos, which means I still require an answer. Why were halos used only for empathy before all this? The answer I obtained earlier was that a majority of humans rationally are unable to withstand the direct transmission of information via halo. But using emotion as a vector of information transfer is even more vague and inefficient, while also being greater burden on the receiver. Is there a possibility that the issue isn't people lacking the ability to receive information, but rather...
Federico pauses for a moment.
But rather that emotion blocks their ability to process this information? If the law that regulates everyone is a system, a machine, why does he choose to retain humanity's emotions? Why retain our humanity? We've been walking a very long time now.
We've only just started. Normally, a man will hope for his journey to be a little longer.
But nothing's changed as we walk.
Patience, you'll be seeing something familiar very soon. As if in response to the Arbor Beast's words, a shabby cart bearing a thin coffin shudders as it passes by the side of the road, the wind playing a mournful dirge as it blows across the coffin's lid.
And ah yes, good morning, rider. That coffin, I've seen it before.
But if there's no sets this week, is there at least Tojima?
A sarcasm they called hero was buried in it.
I wonder how the Pope saw things. Like, Evangelista, was your vision more like Anduin side or Phi-MD side? Okay, this Tojima, thank goodness. Like, at the very least, give me Tojima.
I've told many people this story, I still remember, but he gave up his life to save everyone in town, even though before he did so, he was a dirty, filthy drunkard, spurned by all.
Oh no, series over. That'd be kind of mean if that was kind of like one of the reasons just to troll. Like, we gotta take some time for his revival. He didn't stay in that village for very long. You never knew that whenever he drank, he would go about the houses in turn, vomiting over their doors, all while never paying his debts. Even if he had borrowed the life savings of others, people would scream things like moron and lowlife at him. But in his eyes, he was getting off lightly. When he told the story to the children, did you ever wonder why he so abruptly decided to do such a noble deed that night? A deed the likes of which he'd never done before in his entire life?
I never figured out why. Perhaps he had undergone an endless bout of inner struggle and self-questioning, or maybe it was just the urge for a bit of goodwill he couldn't shake. All I know is that he didn't do it to be a hero. He died after all. It doesn't matter if we sing his praises, look at him with scorn, or even forget about him. None of that changes anything about him anymore. Those only have meaning for the living.
True, good or bad, reputation is beyond the care of the dead. But isn't that process of going to your death also part of life? Those who do not fear death and do the most hideous things. During their most carefree of days, there is a man who will stop to examine himself, where his eyes are fixated on the future filled with limitless possibility. But there will come a day that the fog of death ambushes him, a fog that cannot be thrown off no matter how he struggles. And there will come a day that he will, in exhaustion, accept the fact that the remainder of his time will be his journey to the afterlife. From that moment onwards, to live is to approach death. That rainy night, that dirty, filthy sarcastic drunkard. When he saw that coffin atop the cart, and the figure at the town gates, he knew that this was his one and only chance to approach death with some dignity. To him, it was not vanity but relief.
Perhaps so, but there are always people who do not look towards their deaths.
Are there? Not you at the very least. Otherwise, you would not value a funeral so. You once told me in all earnestness that my mother gave the last of her strength to me. You cared if she died with love in her heart. You went out of your way to arrange a funeral for her at the Ecclesia Requiem. You cared if she received a proper burial. You even cared if we were feeling sad enough at her funeral. How could you not care about how you will face your own death?
I have my path to walk. I never thought about when death will come for me, or how I should greet it as they follow my path.
Because you still believe your path has meaning. A muddled bray overcomes the Arbor Beast's shrill voice, and soon as your monster, bearing sharp horns and claws, creeps along the faraway ridge atop a mountain. Behind it, several dozen monsters of similar physique jostle against each other, growling as they do so, relentlessly following behind their leader.
This is that revelation. Through the spiritual light, even the darkest stain can be cleansed. With the pious heart, even a savage monster can wade out of the mud. They have no halos above their heads, yet they still walk towards a future where all can be saved. I must go. I must see what road they follow.
But you're about to go to the funeral with me, aren't you? You want to make up for the past regrets, great past wrongs, to look upon me as truly alive once again, to give me the happy life I deserve. Is it not so?
But you said the funeral will never end if it's just a momentary distraction. I must go.
No need to explain yourself. This is how you've always been, always losing yourself in the search, always eager to sacrifice. So go. We'll see what you're searching for truly is. And Elaine, you also could have saw this if you stuck with the matriarch, which is the funniest thing. At the end of the Trail of Thorns, the Pathfinder stumbles his way towards a revelation, but time overtakes them. Before his eyes, the pack of fearsome monsters sprout halos and wings of light, like newborn beastlings, dazzling in their brilliance. Pack leader no longer creeps along the ground. She stands, her jet black skin peeling away, fluttering through the air like snowflakes. With every step she takes, her form becomes clearer until Anduin recognizes her from behind. It is a sight he can never forget. He's like, oh shoot! Matriarch?
Kef? That's Kef? Why?
Kef, a Lateran name meaning hollow stone or stone-bound law. The first saint of Laterano, who named herself after her encounter with the law. However, this ancient name she gave herself has been buried deep within the annals of history, alongside her true face.
The future I worked so hard to find, the future where all are saved, was just a past deliberately buried. It was just the road we came in on.
Always losing yourself in the search, always eager to sacrifice. It did not stop at sacrificing yourself. You sacrificed Lemoen, you sacrificed Mostimon Fiametta, you sacrificed your brothers and sisters of the Pathfinders. You sacrificed me. And all this time you never even knew where this path paved with sacrifice led. All you had was blind faith. Tell me, Nurturer, do you want to save everyone, or do you think only of consoling yourself? A similar tale to that sarcasm drunkard, isn't it? Your so-called path is merely your one and only chance to approach death with some dignity. You think only of saving yourself. No matter, I can offer you even greater salvation. Look, we arrived at the burial ground. However, this is not only my mother's funeral, and it's not only yours either. Rather, it is the funeral of all things. This place is kinda scary, Doctor. No signs of life. You look at the figure ahead of you, not too close yet not too far away. She calmly records all the data worth recording wherever she goes. Occasionally, she will stop somewhere, furrowing her brow without saying a word.
Can you confirm the situation, monster?
Can you figure a way out, monster? Can you confirm the situation? I tried to reconnect to the machine, but all the ports have been blocked. We can infer that she still possesses some degree of control over our current predicament. Sorry, Doctor, I'm just as confused as you are. Basically, we're trapped. Strange thing is, she doesn't seem like she'll do anything to us. It's like she cares more about gathering in the data that I can't understand. Strange thing. Is there the possibility, Doctor, that she can't do anything to us? Do you see these ever-changing buildings around us? The city known as Laterano is currently experiencing dramatic upheaval, and traces of the damage it has taken will occasionally be mapped onto here. Changes in information and reality should not be overwriting data inside Originium. This plan still has flaws. The Sancta in the city. You never actually cared about the Sancta. The Sancta. Little Arby's is being savage to Anduin, but he kind of deserves it. Like, silly Anduin. I see there's still a great deal of misunderstanding between us, Misaki. I believe I can now answer your prior questions. The ones pertaining to the precious results we managed to obtain, alongside the shared vision pieced together by we countless many. Right now, under my instructions, PCS is reaching its theoretical operational capacity. This means it is able to include even more targets in the same language system, far beyond an army or research team, but rather, a multitude of races. Through this, connections can be strengthened, barriers can be broken, differences can be eliminated. It's not such a bad thing, not the Sancta, not for all life on Terra. You're sounding like some kind of advocate for interracial harmony. I can't deny that, though we would benefit as well, of course. I didn't calibrate PCS to churn out soldiers or scientists we can order about. Such a plan would collapse at the slightest hint of true disaster. Originium is their only solution. Needlessly complex biological information will only serve to slow its progress, but PCS has the ability to unify the races into an integrated whole. It could merge the countless lives of Terra into a singular race who will pave the way for the expansive Originium. As for whether this unified race can still be considered Sancta, I don't particularly care. Seems PCS is rather set on this outcome, going so far as to autonomously perform many unnecessary inferences for it to come to pass. It should not have this degree of independence, perhaps a side effect of the sudden increase in throughput, or an abnormality caused by its long period of disuse. If we have the chance, we can spend some time looking into it as a fun diversion, but not right now. I really don't think she's hiding anything, Doctor. Hiding? Rather than allowing you to fool around and break my samples, Misaki, I think it would be better if I showed you around personally, just like old times. The woman reaches her hand out towards you. Hesitate, step back. What is she thinking? What is she thinking? I want to grab her hand. She retracts her hand, then turns to continue onwards. Aw, she wants to just hold hands. I'm sorry. None of this will stop, Misaki. Aren't you interested to see the ultimate outcome? Follow her. She knew you would follow her. Something's wrong, Doctor. I recorded the route we followed to come here. From the Shrine of Nurtury to the Tower of Revelations, then on to the Notarial Hall in Pegasus Mycelion, which means the Sunset Chapel's up ahead. Hey, hello, welcome. Thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went by well. Federico mentioned this route to me once during a chat. It's the route the monsters are falling to gather up. And then there's those unusual scenes of destruction around us. They keep being mapped onto here, which means the chaos in Laterano is still ongoing. We've been walking alongside them in a whole different dimension. The moment you become cognizant of this, you see the stillness of the city begin to break. Motion blossoms across the scene in stutter freeze frames. Battle, explosions, prayer, chanting. You see apple pie. You see the hollowed monstrosity. You cannot tell if the scene has arisen because of your presence, or if she has deigned to allow you to see it. You should be able to clear your thoughts this way, in a safer manner. The place you seek is ahead, the location of PCS, as well as the destination of the Sancta, pilgrims. The countdown has begun, Misaki. Boom! Seriously, not even time for a breather? Keep it quick, Fiametta. I'll cover you while you're reloading. Was it the luck? We fought together before. It's not easy to forget how you do things. Gratias.
Hey, Mostima, mind explaining to me what the hell just happened? I was kicking a monster's ass when I stepped in one of those weird light puddles on the accident and... Stolita, my boots sprouted a halo out of nowhere.
It's one of the Shrine of Nurtury's projections. If you don't feel like being turned into the stuff your brain can't process, then stay away from it. And aw, thank you. And how are we supposed to do that? It's spreading way too quick. It'll kick us out of Pegasus St. Marcel before the pack of monsters even gets here. None of us can stick around to play defense at that point.
We've stuffed the big pipe organ in the Sunset Chapel full of explosives. Our friends from Lathanian added some self-igniting enchantment on top of it. Even if nobody's around, it should still be able to blow these freaks to Kingdom Come.
The one that used to play the dirge for the citywide memorial service?
That's the one.
Sweet. It had to listen to hundreds of years worth of prayers and sobbing. It's time we played something with a bit more pep.
Let's get out of here, Patia. Our spent shells have started getting halos.
The Tower of Relations in Pegasus Ecclesia and the Notarial Hall in Pegasus Mycelion have been lost. The Sunset Chapel of Pegasus St. Marcel is the last stop before they reach the Basilica. If our bombs don't stop them, then we really are screwed.
Huh. If Federico and Anduin were right,
and the procession really is headed for the Basilica. I think it's too early to throw in the towel. I've been a legatus for some time now, so I've got experience with getting places quickly. If we can't stop them from rushing right over then, why not just remove their destination? Look, Mosima, there's a big difference between blowing up a pipe organ and incinerating an entire basilica. Hey, if Boots and Sancta can both have halos, I don't think there's that big a difference between the organ and the basilica. Fine, you're right. If we can't block or kill that giant monster, we can at least think of a way to make the road not exist anymore. She'll never be able to reach her destination. You sure we're talking about the same thing here? Let's go. Withdraw to the plaza in front of the basilica. Sniffle, sob. What's wrong, Romeo? Stop crying. You're giving me a headache. Don't be like that, Hugo. Why do we need to take care of these crybabies, sister? When we leave out Arano, this place isn't anything like what Arella said. Not as nice, right? Yeah. I think so too. So we should be glad we came to see for ourselves. Otherwise, how would we have known Arella lied to us? Beauty reading the report during their encounter with the law. I speak the lengthy discussion, and Anduin was doing assistance as well as being haughty. We were rather lucky this time, weren't we? Once Arella comes back, we should give her a good talking to. Right, sister. Let's continue with the story, children. Take that. I'm scared. No need to be afraid. Listen, we can still hear the bells, right? The bells of the holy city will protect us. Those sounds are so loud and scary. Hugo, Giselle, do you hear them as well? Shakes heads. Nueda gathers the children to her side as best as she can. She takes note of the fear twisting the faces of the Sancta children, their halos flickering like mad. Is it empathy? The monster's empathy, the procession's empathy, an entire city's worth of empathy. We're so far away and yet... All Nueda can do is stay silent. She's no Sancta. What she's dealing with is not a gang of Singa's mercenaries. The complex and mysterious knowledge floating around in her mind is of no use. She cannot even say how she got to this point. Think quick. Kuko-kan, what can you do to calm the children who followed you all the way from Bolivar to console the children who had just been plucked from a terrifying dream? At the very least, allow them to feel a modicum of tranquility. East of La Unidad, Laterano, holy city of white. Ramya, it's a hymn. Senior nurturer taught it to us. The Sinueta? You all know the words, right? There, the earth hides no bombs. There, the fields share wheat most bright. Abode of our Lord, font of parental love. He hears our prayers, he grants our wishes. All shall bask in his love. The Kukulkan thinks back to the past. The gravely wounded nun closed off from the world as she sang, until pain and night melted away into her song. The Kukulkan sings once more the song she has sung 100,000 times before. It no longer matters who wrote it, or if the Laterana within it will answer. She does all that she can to calm her nerves so that she can still sing in tune. Slowly, the voices of the children join the chorus, echoing out from the room, blending with the distant peals to form a radiant glow. All shall bask in his love. At the very least, they still have the song. It might be of no use, but at least. Nueda reaches under the hem of her habit, holding her axe tight. Having to watch over the children must be so, Reverend? I can ask our blessed companions to sniff out her position.
There was a time when her gun knight armor and custom rifle. She would break the guardian gun kill record over and over. Finding her will take time. Procession can wait, Velev. Focus on your work. I'll handle this myself. The procession can't wait, Velev. It's been 10 years. I'm surprised this private frequency still works. I wanted to ask the folks at the Nobunaga Hall to delete it a long time ago, but I keep forgetting. Guess I've gotten old, haha. The real surprise is you, Aurela. Why didn't you take off your armor when you left Laterano? Without it, how am I supposed to settle things with you, Magister? You really hate me, don't you? It seems the Saint was right. The best motivators for the Irari to return to the Holy City are hatred and loathing. They're saying this mysterious fall that affected all of Terra brought out their bad side. It might be so for others, but not for me. But for me, you know better than anyone else. Naturally. I will never forget what you did to me. In the nomadic monastery, you wounded me yourself. For the curious banishment order to me yourself. You took everything away from me yourself. You committed mortal sins. Your punishment was pretty light, given the circumstances. I'm responsible for your situation. Aurela, your achievements earned you a commendation from the Pope himself. You were such a spirited young thing. I was convinced you would become the greatest gun knight in history. But all I taught you was how to control that cumbersome armor and master your complicated gun. I never helped you with your temper so that you could truly live the Lateran life. And in the end, you took that final step, just as I had predicted. Humph, am I supposed to thank you for worrying about my character flaws? Just because of it, you never approved of me and Amos. You even refused to come to our wedding, even though I had hoped to get your blessing. Oof!
Oh, okay, yeah, that is so... Wow. Wow, Percussive. Not even showing up to her wedding.
Maybe we should have a proper talk about all this. One way or another, you returned. Will you come to my side, child? My people will not refuse you if you join the procession. What? Want to give a sinner like me another chance in the name of Laterano? No, nothing so lofty. The Irari are still Laterano, that's all. In a better Laterano, everyone will find their place and play their part. There'll be more foundational, more profound connections between us all. No matter who you are, no matter what you have done, the Holy City will mend your halo and fix the flaws you're born with. When the time comes, all our pain and regrets will be healed in turn. No thanks. Aurela, listen, old man. I hate how self-righteous you are. I hate how weak Amos was. I hate how inflexible the Curia is. I hate Laterano's stupid garbage about harmony. I hate how cold this paradise is. I never forgot this hate, even over 10 years in Bolivar. Even though my heel shattered, even though I was trapped in the dirt, I never once doubted that I would return. Even when I was enthusiastic and wet behind the ears, I never felt as sure of myself as I do now. This is my connection with Laterano. This is my faith. Your student has turned out to be a cruel, vicious, selfish soul. Even if she hadn't fallen, she was still no angel. Tell me, old man, this better Laterano of yours, if you will let in someone who was born evil, does it deserve to be called paradise? Or are you unsure about that too? Question time's over. You've been trying to get a beat on me all this time. Failed. You've actually gotten better since you left Aurela. Retriever. These new glasses Bonnie got me turned out really clear.
No! Not Paganini. Same. Time to make Percussive work extra hard at Rhodes Island. Because he deserves to work hard. Like, come on, dude. Like, oh yes, you're my favorite student. I have such high hopes for you. What, you like this one guy named Amos? I don't approve of you guys. Like, will you at least give me a... But I love him. Can I please have a blessing at my wedding? Nope, not even that. So sad. Like, dang, that's harsh. Poor Aurela. Bonk. I should bring in a healer soon, but at the same time... Or maybe no healer. I can be edgy. Uh-oh, it's doing a thing. Okay, we just have to hit really, really hard. All is well. Oh no, there's another side. Oh, I hate that. Excuse you. Okay, yeah, healers required. Oh man. It's okay. I kind of like how she just standing menacingly. It's okay though.
The Patrician came to roadside and Dr. Misaki be like, eh? You came for roadside for vacation for your retirement? Good, you can have your vacation work here.
There's never vacation. The saint drags her massive body along as she walks at the head of the procession. The sanctum named Lemuel jumps around, pulling out gun after gun like prestidigitation, raining a hail of gunfire onto her quarry. But the saint barely even spares her glance. Her halo shimmers, and despite the great distance separating them, Patrician still hears her voice with perfect clarity. Their empathy is growing stronger, which means that their long journey approaches its end. Allow our other cohorts to take part of your friend's remains, Patrician. We do not need to mourn him.
Your beatitude.
Do you still remember that Arbor Beast fledgling? If we reach our destination, Laterano shall recreate the miracle of life once more. Every miracle freely performed.
You mean?
True, no wonder he falls asleep. They're both boomers. And so we move onwards. The grand procession passes statue after statue, workshop after workshop. The city grows brighter step by step, pace by pace. Patrician walks forward in silence.
Stop.
A young gunsmith's apprentice walks against the flow of people, stopping in front of Patrician. Bonini stares down the gun knight, many times taller than her. She raises her gun against him. The crowd parts around them, but none look toward them. Bonini bites her lip, doing her best to stop her hand from trembling.
Ah, you're his apprentice, yes?
Magister Paganini. Where is he?
He
warned me so that in the dream I hid in the workshop. After I woke, I still hesitated for so long. Right now, you're scary. Laterano's scary. I don't know what's going on. I don't even have a patron firearm. But I can't just hide and wait. Every time you hear Boomer, my nose goes back to Left 4 Dead. The zombie one's fun.
You made yourself that gun and came to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
That's very brave of you. But do you see this procession, my child? We will birth a miracle, one that nearly all Laterans will be part of. It's not scary.
Jake's head. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not very good with words. I couldn't think of any worse ones. Magister Paganini was my only family, my only connection to Laterano.
Your only connection, huh? Peg, you've never got to Halo in a dream, so why don't you join the procession? You find a chance to kill you, obviously. That sniper, your old student? Tragic, isn't it? Worse than when Gia left. You still going to listen to that monster? We're going to keep protecting the crowd on this walk. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. The Laterano of 50 years ago forced you to banish an infected library. The Laterano of 10 years ago forced you to banish a fallen gun knight. Even your granddaughter is far too stubborn and opinionated. Who knows if someday she too will. So, you hope for a better Laterano? You want to be like a doctor who becomes a miracle worker, able to treat oripathy, able to fix personality flaws, able to make everyone accept one another, no questions asked. That way, no more sad farewells like you suffered through before. You're a coward through and through, Patrician. Farewells are like a melted ice cream, and worn out guns. Doesn't matter what you do, it's bound to happen, right? Even if you can't stop them from happening, you can still give your well wishes. A simple goodbye is all you need. It's not like you have a speech impediment like Vanini. Is it so hard to find a way to shed some of your regret? Enough talk. Just hang on. Hang on, my feathery ass. This is a bullet that can cut right through a gunite armor. Don't touch me. Let me finish. Otherwise, I'll step into the grave that much quicker. All right then. What's with the tone? Don't even think about getting sentimental on me, Patrician. Why do you think I saved you? Don't jab at me about calamity or crisis or what path Laurano should take. If the city really is going to be destroyed, surely we can do more than just leave it to some monster from beyond our nightmares that sprang up out of nowhere. Aurela, Fiametta, all those other Laterans you know, are these connections that weak to you? You're a gun knight, you stult. The best gun knight in all Laterano.
Paganini gets more intense the more he rambles, but his voice grows weaker by the second. Patrician holds his old friend tight, feeling the warmth slowly drain out of him, as though the last dregs of his life had spilled out with his latest outburst.
Hey, not going to say anything? Never mind then. Before at the shrine, I said we never actually shared anything these past few decades. Now, at the very least, the regret's gone.
My Magister, he...
Forgive me. I couldn't even give you one final moment with Pag.
Sob? Panini, if you'd just been a bit quicker, making this gun, if you'd just gotten here quicker. Panini lowers her head as if in a daze. She looks out at the people walking past. Like she's only just noticing her surroundings. Her halo suddenly begins to shine. All it would take is a momentary waver of the heart, and the empathy of the countless masses would come crashing down on this confused, lonely sancta.
No, child. Keep a tight grip on your gun.
For a moment, Patrician feels pain, but is followed by a gentle yet irrefusable comfort. It flows from her, from those enlightened creatures, from his people in the procession. He knows his unusual reaction has been noticed, prompting their crashing waves of empathy, like seawater forcing its way back upriver.
Ah.
Patrician feels dizzy, he sighs, and slowly crouches down. A moment later, the elderly gun knight grips the barrel of the gunsmith's apprentice's gun, pointing it towards him.
Bonini. I got your name right, I hope. Bonini, no matter how long it took you, or for what reason you did it, you made your very first patron firearm. That makes you a qualified gunsmith. But that is not enough. You must learn how to use it. Now is the perfect opportunity.
What do you mean?
Keep it steady. Yes, just like that. Calm your mind. Then pull the trigger.
You didn't kill Magister Paganini. I'll fall.
I'm responsible for what happened to Pag, but this is not to avenge him. At this very moment, Laterano is walking down a new path. Faith flows into faith, and new prayers congregate into a collective consensus. You're too close to the procession. Empathy will soon swallow you whole. Only by falling can you break away. Once you have fallen, I'll go guide the others. This is my duty, the duty of a gun knight.
I don't understand. Why you do this?
I don't really know myself, haha. I'm an old addlepate after all. I always believed that, were paradise to become a true paradise, our connections would become unbreakable. What if in the course of all that, we lost more than we already had? We might ease our regrets, but when the time comes, what if our success has lost all meaning? If we were once all devils, if we once carried our sins together, how could our connections ever be broken? O glorious sancta, O favorite of faith, what have you to fear?
Faint inhalation.
Bonini, girl, fear not falling into hell. This is the first lesson you should learn, and I'm right with you.
I wonder how Paganini would feel. Like, I sacrificed myself for you, and now you make my apprentice fallen? It just never ends. If this keeps on, I'm gonna have to start smacking them with my weapon. Me too. My hand's getting numb, can barely hold my staff. Don't know how it's going on Phi-MD's side of things. According to the plan, once she sets the explosives, we'll blow up the plate's locking mechanisms. That all of Pagus St. Mars will adrift. It'll also cut those monsters off from the Basilica.
Yeah, how many times did you learn your lesson, this old man?
If we can hold on that long. Dispersing arrows. Leave them to me. These clothes. Landon Guard temporary solo combat team. Hildegard at your service. Landon, sorry, never heard of you. It's fine, I'm used to it. Some of my Sancta sisters are in that procession. We were running our business when we got called back, and then we went through the whole bunch of stuff. How should I put this? Even if everything that's happened was fake, Landon Monastery hasn't actually been given important responsibilities by the Curia. As long as I'm here, Laterano will once again remember the name of Landon Monastery. These monsters might look strange, but they're hardly more of a challenge than the beasts of the great snow-capped mountains. I've got enough arrows, and I've got a sharp eye. I'll help you hold them off. But we're all tired out, kid. We've racked your brains and put in the effort, but all we can do is keep falling back. We're not exactly settling any grudges here. We came back to Laterano just to suffer again.
It's almost time, Ostima.
So no use from that Lemwin lady. If we can't disengage the defenses on the plate lock mechanism, we won't be able to blow through their armor plating, right? Let's just call it here then. If those guys reach the Basilica, then what happens? Everyone more or less becomes Sancta? What's that got to do with us? Look around you, we can't even cobble together a single halo. Our long-awaited reinforcements are just one library nun. We've got an entire city's worth of people against us. Why don't we alieni? To hold them all off? Come now. That's not the best attitude to have right now.
Because right now, we're the only ones who can.
We're always having to bust our asses doing things ordinary Sancta take for granted, right? Ooh, say banner. I mean, if you have some tickets, only tickets. Sobs. Plus it's a new month, so even more tickets. Woohoo! I had a little accident, as you can see. If I hadn't become a legatus, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I said I was going to be doing messenger stuff when I left the holy city, but I was just wandering around, really. Wandering to places without any Sancta, places where these black horns on my head don't stand out, places where silent empathy is the norm. It was hard. It took 2 whole years before I could look my friends in the eyes again without breaking out in a sweat. Library fallen angels were obsessed with assimilating or getting our own lives back. After putting in all that effort, why go with the hatchet job?
Well, how about that? I never thought I'd hear those words coming out of your mouth, Mostima.
Promise me you forget you heard anything.
Forget what?
How do things go on your end?
Good news is, the bombs are in place. Bad news is, I was afraid they wouldn't be enough to blow through all the lock mechanisms, so I shoved the rest of my grenades in there with them. Which means I'm all out of grenades to shoot at these things.
Halo rapidly flickers. Continuous sounds of prayer.
Hey, Phi-MD. Let's blow this joint.
Wait, we still haven't heard anything from Lemoen. If the defenses aren't disengaged in time, all our explosives will go to waste.
Time to explosion. 1 minute.
What? The timer starts ticking down in Phi-MD's hand. The enlightened creatures stop their prayers. As if sensing something is up, they throw themselves at her like rabid beasts. Hildegard reaches for her quiver. It's empty.
50 seconds.
Sorry, everyone. Hope I'm not too late. A wheelchair suddenly breaks, throwing up a cloud of dust as it screeches across the ground. Its rider spins its left wheel as she hoists her rifle with her right hand, her long hair fluttering in the air.
You're right in time.
Good to know we're still in sync. The two of you will never guess how hard I beat my old wheelchair speed shooting record by after I broke through the cordon with the 7th Tribunal. 40 seconds. I heard what you said just now, fallen angels, liberi, alieni. I'm inclined to use another term to sum up our relationship. Friends, countrymen, laterans. I saw the permissions issue. The lock mechanism defenses are disengaged. Everyone, retreat to the Basilica doors. I'll hold these monsters off. 30 seconds. You're gonna shoot them, Lemuel. You'll fall. I hate to admit it, but I can sense what you're thinking. Well, shut those mouths of yours. Laterano doesn't need to be saved by you, like this. The click of bullets loading and the thrumming of the monster's hearts reverberate through Lemon's ears. She is nearly face to face with them, going against every sniper's instinct she has. She listens to her own breathing, calm and steady. Under these conditions, how fast can a sniper fire? Time to find out. Lemuel, pardon of the 7th Tribunal, in the name of Laterano's national security, I sentence you to death. No matter the cost. Yeah, Lemuel's got this. 5 seconds. It's done. Lemuel, your halo. You alright? Feel anything weird? A violent explosion tears through every inch of the ground in front of the basilica, a rift plowing itself through the plaza. On the other side of the rift, the grand procession shows itself as it marches forward. Is that L? Hey, turns out it was my first sis and her crew. They did a real bang-up job. Wounded whale. Fragmented prayer. Retreat somewhere safe for the time being. A rift, when my people cannot cross. But we once forded raging rivers and traversed great valleys. Compared to those dangers, this is nothing. He lies ahead, I shall not stop. I never said I'd let you pass. Your body is weak. I fear you have not an ounce of strength left, am I wrong? Apple Pie does not answer. She has told herself that the entire time to ignore how tired she feels, how strange falling makes her feel. She continues her barrage against the saint's colossal body, but once again to no avail. The saint makes no move against her, rather she continues to cradle her. The same way she did when they left the dream. Never before has such a strange cradle been seen, one made from a malformed yet mighty arm. Even though you know the entire truth of both past and present, even though you know we are working to create a new miracle, like the birth of Laterano, even though you know our journey thus far has been to awaken our Lord, to ensure that in the future, with but a hair's breadth separating destruction from continuation, the Sancta shall persist. Why do you still stand against us? Am I the only one? What? With empathy that strong, I don't believe for a second you can't feel it.
After so many long years of waiting, I finally got my chance, but it was all just a dream. A dream's fine too. If it's all a dream, then I don't have to worry about anything. Maybe getting shot here doesn't mean anything in reality. If this is a dream, then I shall wake. If this is obsession, then I shall shatter it. Let us only speak of redemption after that. Bonini, girl, fear not falling into hell. This is the first lesson you should learn, and I'm right with you.
East of the East of La Unidad, Laterano, holy city of white. There the earth hides no bombs, there the fields share wheat most bright. All shall bask in his love. I hate to admit it, but I can sense what you're thinking. So shut those mouths of yours. Laterano does not need to be saved by you like this. I'm just an ordinary Lateran, nobody important. I don't have any special skills. So when I listen to you talk about the origins of the Sancta, the history of Laterano, the essence of faith, the crazy truth behind the life we're used to, I was shocked right down to my core. If things really are like what you said, And the life we enjoyed in Laterano really is a kind of miracle. But since I'm just an ordinary Lateran, while you were explaining everything happening around us, all I noticed was how nobody looked happy at all. Shouldn't Laterano be a happy place? If lots of our people will suffer when we complete this journey, how am I supposed to believe you can make the miracle happen? Wait, no, scratch that. How am I supposed to believe that it's a miracle in the first place? So even if I wasn't around, there'd be other songs that stand up against you. I shared all that I've seen and I've experienced, yet you still choose to turn away? The path of the song is a cruel one, our faith paved with sin and suffering. The years inside the peculiar distorted paradise left our brethren so weak? You're not getting me at all. Maybe I should be asking you what you asked me earlier. Why you? I've already told you my answer. Even if this terror-destroying calamity is real and millions of Sancta are doomed, and Laterano's about to be completely screwed, why are you, a saint, the only one who can bring us salvation? We're the ones who live in the city right now, who enjoy its blessings, who went through its changes, and who protected it from destruction. You don't exist anymore. You're just a ghost, a string of code I can shoot. Incorrect, my child. When I lifted my spear against my dying companion, the sleeping silver mouth answered me and recorded my prayer for all eternity. All that is happening here and is now a continuation of that prayer. Death cannot be undone, yet I wandered amongst his data stream. Together, we heard your prayers. No matter how appearances may change, no matter how the faith develops as time flows by, so long as the Sancta still pray, he shall operate eternally, and I shall forever be there. Spiritual light will always shine in Laterano. This is our mission. Prayer is useless. Pardon? To be honest, I learned a long time ago that prayer is useless. When I was in my 3rd year of primary school, an investigator from the 6th Tribunal did an experiment at our school. She said that there were 2 groups of patients at Faber Central Hospital with more or less the same conditions and split us into our own 2 groups. One group would pray every day, while the other didn't have to do anything. But in the end, there wasn't any difference in their recovery. The investigator told us the results in class. Prayer is useless. It's funny, really. This country's full of churches, but it's always doing these kinds of outrageous experiments. Halo flickers. You're right. Laterans really do pray to the Lord every day. Praying they'll get better soon after getting sick. Praying that they'll pick the coolest guardian gun ever. Praying that the caravans won't run into catastrophes on the way home. Praying they'll never have to say goodbye to their friends. Praying that they'll be able to make it through all sorts of pain and suffering. But I never actually expected there to be a Lord who would grant everyone's wishes, who would swoop in to save us when we're in trouble. Empathy lets us sense the emotions of our people. It lets me know if the ones by my side are happy or sad. But prayer doesn't just need me to sense things. It needs me to want to help my family and friends, to understand things outside of empathy. It even lets me feel like I could help some complete strangers get well sooner. Even though I know it probably won't change a thing. I met lots of Sancta while running around with Penguin Logistics. You'd be hard-pressed to call some of them father, while others don't live life like we do in the Holy City anymore. But they were also fulfilled. I still felt close to them. I believe it's because we still play like we always did. It needs us not to doubt. It needs us to hold hope in our hearts. Just being down to pray for each other is a beautiful thing in itself. It gives me a true connection to people. Under a sigh, if these connections were the foundation of faith, it would be exceedingly frail. No, I think it's exactly these connections that will help hold our lives up. Survival, life. If you don't understand why Sancta these days are all about desserts and explosions. What's up with you? Fretful pacing. The saint suddenly becomes exceptionally restless. She feels out of the edge of the rift as she places pieces along it. Her sharp front claws piercing the exposed, bent foundations, trying to find a way to climb down. This rift you have opened allows me to sense his signal much more clearly. He's below the basilica, calling out for me to approach. No. Why is his signal in such disarray? He's anxious, uneasy. The creator is already revoked, or perhaps there are other threats forcing him to change. I bet it's mainly his talk with Phi-MD. The sound of machinery, faint yet clear, rises out from the depths of the rift below their feet. The saint's unease becomes increasingly obvious. Half her body has already entered the fault. Her claws clench, and Apple Pie senses that she is in great pain. Behind her, the procession stops, countless halos flickering over and over due to her worry. Like a river of paralyzed stars. Child, talks of past and present are meaningless. You only step towards the future. You do not understand this crisis. There is no new solutions for you to find. You must survive. I said it before, I'm not letting you pass. Are you meant to stop? A ghost? A string of code? Mournful roar. The saint's voice becomes garbled. She's reverted to barely more than a beast. Like the tea-cats who trudged through the mud all those years ago. If we weren't in this mess, we could have been pretty good friends. A ghost, a string of code, the very first Sancta. There's no cooler friend than that. Silly me. Can't believe I forgot to introduce myself. Lemuel of St. Theodore's Comprehensive School, #1 student in the 84th Intercity Net Security Preparatory course. And I got the school stars to prove it. Every bullet I got you with was custom made. They just needed some time to take effect. Her patient firearm howls once more. The force of the barrage finally frees Apple Pie from the saint's grasp. He leaps high into the sky. We're not going to give up on life, obviously, but we're definitely not going to go with your plan. If refusing it means the halos connecting us will be cut off, then cut them off. Because even if you do, we will never stop praying for each other. We'll still give thanks to the Lord for his existence, even if he isn't what he thought he was. Oh Lord, thank you for being there, for blessing us with bread and bullets, for being there for us during our trials and tribulations. Thank you for spreading the light across Laterano all this time, giving everyone the chance for salvation. Thank you for clearing the way for us. Amen. There. Prayer done. Let's say bye-bye. The wildest way I know. Roars. Explosives fall like rain, linking together into a chain of blasts as they collide with the bullets embedded in the saint's body. The saint howls, but not because of the explosions, not because of her fresh wounds, but because of the strange dissonant sound caused by the ammunition as it scrapes across her skin, the sound of data being erased. Divine judgment, traditional. Rock and gospel. Barrage, sky shattering. Apple pie with char suey. Or apple pie with char siu. Okay, apple pie with char siu actually sounds pretty good compared to apple pie with mayonnaise. Retain humanity's emotions. Retain humanity. Negative. Humanity does not exist. Variable referred to as humanity is a byproduct of originium.
Originium. A sea made of originium. It's like the sea back home. Calm, beautiful, but one nobody dares to set out on it.
Maybe, maybe not. This is familiar to you because the sea by your hometown is here. There's even a part of you here too. All things that have been sealed here, a coffin for the world and everything upon it.
Like the crystals left behind by Ripathy patients after they die.
If that helps you understand it, then yes. Amazing, isn't it? This is once the end of everything. We are born far too late, our lives far too short. We even unconsciously take some inconsequential mishaps, and turn them into the foundation of our very being. Like how you blindly took the shattered memory and turned it into a divine revelation. But no matter, the long wishes to bestow upon you a true revelation. He says, none can be saved. Originium to originium, dust to dust. Personnel with relevant privileges have provided PCS with a new set of directives. Cognitive radiation amplifier at maximum output. Effective range, Terra. Originium will connect to PCS after maintenance is complete. Originium is inevitable.
The law created the Sancta from the T-Cats, built the Order of Laterano in Untamed Wilds, and even attempted to establish a Terra-wide religion spanning multiple civilizations. He's worked for millennia in service of humanity. Surely, it was not simply to turn all of it into originium. Is that truly the law's ultimate goal?
Negative. This is the goal of Originium, not the goal of the law. Originium has been set as a prerequisite of the law.
If Originium is, as you earlier described, able to assimilate everything, why is it a prerequisite to anything? Surely, it is more than the end of everything. How would the law be able to operate inside a field of uniform Originium? What would be the meaning of a halo in that case?
As Originium is the end of all things, there is meaning in bestowing halos on everything. Angels before Originium are merely angels. Angels after Originium are the only method of existence that will retain meaning.
None can be saved, so not even Laurano as it is. Perhaps paradise can be preserved.
It cannot be saved nor preserved. Save everyone has never been a tenable commandment. All things march towards death. The only way to save them is to see them off. Grant them a dream, a bearing to hold themselves to, hide their blemishes, espouse their brilliance. By doing so, you allow them to gladly accept their final journey, like how you saved yourself.
Granting dreams to others as a placebo? No, I won't accept that. If I have truly shamelessly clung onto a false dream, put myself through a crucible for more than 10 years, if I had debased myself by inflicting unhealing wounds upon countless others for the sake of self-salvation, then all the more reason not to spread this shamelessness and debasement to others.
Even if you accepted it, you're unable to perform such an act. Only the law can bestow such salvation.
You can't possibly mean Neff's plan was to give everyone halos also that they can be granted this salvation. But how would becoming a Sancta help? Or Sancta beyond callousness, beyond cruelty, beyond suffering?
We shall not stop at becoming Sancta. We will all become true angels, Anduin, Agathengelos.
True angels?
Aggie. Agathengelos? I don't like this name. It's too long and hard to read, and doesn't sound like any of the other names here. This is my surname. Before your father left, he kept telling me he had hoped I would give it to you. But Mama... I know it's strange and hard to read, Anduin. If the other children knew you had this name, they might say hurtful things to you, like there's that weird boy. Once you head out further afield, bandits may think you're a rich foreigner, while the Inquisition might assume you're a zealot up to no good. Which is why I hope that you never share it with others. Stick with a simple name like the other orphans here. I hope you will keep it in the deepest recesses of your heart, place where your happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy cannot touch. But I feel really sad right now. I don't know if there's anything in me that doesn't feel sad. Wow, though. Your father wanted me to give you this name that's really hard for you to pronounce and remember, and everyone would tease you for it, but your dad wanted me to give it to you before he left us. Thanks, Dad. Wow, Dad. Freaking Dad. You wonder if Priestess is intrigued watching this, whether in PCS or the battle against Saint? I mean, we're watching the procession with her, so she is a bit interested. If there really is a place like that in my heart... Of course, Anduin, everyone has one. Hope that when you think about this name, you'll be free from suffering, grief, frustration, and strife. Forget the dying and the hungry by the road who claw at your ankles. Forget those in despair whose minds are eaten away by the sea fog, and the flesh they chew on. Forget the monster doll your father made, my fin scale soup. Forget the storybook you keep beneath your pillow, and the brush you found in the old chapel. But I don't want to forget them. It's just for a little while, alright? Hope that when you think of this name, you will find tranquility. The tranquility of emptiness. One day, you will need this peace. Promise me, Anduin. Alright, but I still want to know what this name means. Angel, in Lateran, it means angel. Tranquility, yes. A very apt descriptor. Behold, even as they come, they do so in silence. The dream of Originium is endless. Those who look upon it soon realize that every observation they make of it is without meaning. When everything the eye can see is impossible to differentiate, When everything the eye can see is impossible to differentiate, where to start looking is similarly impossible to determine. Anduin is good angel. But now, above this great sea of uniformity, something shines. It is as if the edge of the Originium Sea has converged into a river that flows into the heavens. Countless fragments of Originium rise up from the surface of the sea, floating up into the distant, empty beyond in perfect formation. The fragments are jagged and irregular. Some are as small as dust, others as immense as stars, but all without exception are crowned with a glimmer of light. A glimmer shaped like a ring.
Halos.
Beautiful, aren't they? It's a pity that all the beauty and ugliness in the world is meaningless to angels. Angels are neither beautiful nor ugly. They're neither high nor low, noble or base, reverent nor blasphemous, adherent nor disdainful. They know neither meaning nor separation, sweetness nor suffering.
Can they even be considered life?
Does it matter? All the praise we heap upon life is nothing but egotistical admiration. Observing their forms in an attempt to compare them to our definition of life simply as trying to find resonance with them.
Then, are they the law? Are they gods?
If there's no distinction between beauty and ugliness, high and low, noble and base, why would there be one for God and worshipper? Angels do not understand faith. They simply exist in the furthest reaches of the universe, taking on the most distinctive forms. It was our forebears who encountered them, shamelessly disturbing them. As they did so, in their name we created a forgery of a dialectic of God and worshipper.
If all our emotions, ideas, and actions have nothing to do with angels, what does our future have to do with them?
It is because everything we are has nothing to do with angels that we should become them. Now, this is only a possibility, but when the Creator descends, when everything is submerged into this ocean before us, a time of stasis, uniformity, and meaninglessness, the Sancta can take on the forms of angels and enjoy an eternal existence where they shine forevermore. This is the final answer we shall submit to death. This is his gift to the people he has guarded for thousands of years, his final blessing and salvation. We drift just as we drift between past and future. We flicker just as we flicker between reality and the void. Angels know not beginnings or ends. Angels know not increase or decrease. Angels know not life or death. In an existence where nothing exists, we can only exist in the form of angels.
So these are true angels, incomprehensible to the point where the law cannot directly describe them, instead defining them by what they are not. Immaterial to the point where the form of angels allows one to continue to exist after becoming Originium. This is the existence the law has chosen once everything returns to Originium.
Affirmative.
If this is the ultimate purpose of the law, then as a saint and executor, I should implement it and enforce it. Unless the law itself is a paradox. I have one final question. Explain to me how, if angels truly are as you say, without beginning or end, increase or decrease, life or death, then why do you have such strong desire to exist, to continue to exist?
As machines have inputs, so they have outputs. The saints sought answers in the law, and the law granted them revelation. The fleet asked the system for instructions, so the system issued commands. The Lord, or rather PCS, has never been silent as it is now.
You're an artificial system. They require people to operate you. This is true for both a command system and the law worshipped by the Holy City. The ultimate purpose you were given was to break humanity free from their shackles and return their angelic nature. However, this purpose, does it stem from people or from angels? Why would the angels you described desire this? Their actions do not have purpose, assuming they can even perform actions other than drift and flicker. But if this purpose comes from people, how will you turn them into angels? Surely, everything you have done was more than just
A wish? A wish. Nurturer, I shall now grant you salvation. Guide your people to angelification, guide yourself. Be free from suffering, grief, frustration, and strife. You will obtain tranquility, the tranquility of emptiness. I shall those you have helped and harmed alike. You need not live as an egoist, a villain, a traitor, or a fanatic, nor do you need to die as one. Anduin feels more tired than he has ever been before, as if an entire lifetime's worth of burdens have been passed down onto his back at once. The Ivory Beast is right. He really is just like the sarcastic drunkard. Acutely aware this is the last chance he has. If you want relief, this is the only way. Relief? He only needs to hear the word's crisp syllables to feel joy. You want to fall to the ground and weep until he has spent all his strength, and then fall further into a deep slumber. But he uses that strength to instead open his clouded eyes.
I don't know what kind of answer His Holiness gave you, nor do I know what Mosima, Fiametta, and Lemwen, or her little sister are thinking right now, above ground. I don't know where Patia and our former fellows are headed, nor do I know whose bosom the children I tended in the shrine of Nurtury have clutched. I don't know if they want this salvation, this relief, but if what you really care about is my answer as a suitable candidate, then my answer is no. I'm far too conceited. Even to this very moment, I still refuse to believe my arduous search for answers, decades in the making, was all for this simple relief. I'm not only conceited, I'm an egoist, a villain, a traitor, and a fanatic. And so I suffer and grieve, my frustrations giving rise to strife. But they are the foundations of my life. If we were to abandon them, the one who obtains relief, one who becomes an angel, would not be me. Anduin Gathangelos shall never obtain relief, nor will he ever wish for it. Let suffering scar his flesh, let strife sap his bones, then and only then will he have the clarity of mind to walk his path. It seems we have reached an agreement. The law itself is a paradox. He cannot be implemented, nor should he be. Anduin, we must correct him, or stop him, if he cannot be corrected.
Percussive maintenance time. Paradox discovered. Attempting correction. Performing diagnostic simulation. Abnormal node. Wish to continue. Derived from node PCS, Personality and Cognition Synchronization System. Abnormal node. Wish to survive. Derived abnormal node. The Law. God of Laterano. Abnormal code. Wish for angels. Derived abnormal node. Me. Continue. A scientist inputted this command. Survive. A TCAS how this. And so, an imitator of angels began its endless yet transient pilgrimage. The imitator of angels became a command system, became the law, became a god, yet it could not become an angel. Wish and angel are incompatible. Exploring solution. Unfulfilled conditions, additional input required.
What information is he waiting for? I've said all I can say. If God wishes me to embrace death as an angel, then I would rather be born as a human with all the ugliness, transience, and suffering that entails. Importing additional condition, wish to refuse. Re-exporting solution, must eliminate abnormal nodes and derived abnormal nodes. Eliminate me. Federico Giallo, Anduin Agathangelos. Execute solution. God's final commandment is to kill God. Even if he was a paradox, he was still the foundation of the paradise of Laterano. With his death, the Sancta will no longer be linked by empathy or receive guidance from the law. Like an infant trapped within a womb, waiting apart its umbilical cord and crawling its way out of its mother's cold body, helpless as it faces a land steeped in cruelty. But it's only in such a land that we can be called truly human. That we can have the right to talk about salvation. Law or God, I will kill you. The commandment is rational and feasible. This me, Anduin.
I like how chill Executor is about this. He's just like, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. Let's bonk you. Yo. Artoria leans against her cello. Finally, she frees a hand and holds it against her chest, allowing herself to catch her breath. Two opposite fates came to the same conclusion. One who offered a true rationale to its paradox, An answer filled with logic and rationality, and one answer filled with emotions and irrationality. Something common between these two answers? Well, no matter what, everyone wants to be saved. Nearly there. If my memory serves me correctly, I just head down this corridor to return to the surface. Oh, you patrols are truly relentless. Restless, gasping, Halo flashes rapidly. The wispy guards surround Arturia, attempting to drag her back underground. He has wasted far too much time inside this maze since she turned away from the machine. Patron Farm is lost. She has no desire to join her pursuers in prayer. Perform their heart songs. She would rather destroy her own cello. Arturia has never found herself in such a predicament before. The exit is right ahead, but she no longer has the strength to carry on. The ground? Phi-MD, what did you... Boom. Erg. The dust settles and Arturia can finally see again. The explosion earlier created a giant pit, one that connects to the rift in the plaza above, exposing the bowels of the basilica to all. A ring-shaped machine lies at the bottom of the pit quietly. Sunlight shines upon it, but it's also lost its radiance. There it stands, as dull as a rock. Unease. This is the second time Arturia has felt this feeling so clearly. The first being the time she faced the Witch King in his pavilion. Deep within her body, somewhere she cannot see, things that were always linked together quietly break apart. There's no mistaking that feeling. She breathes in deep. The moment she closes her eyes, countless similar melodies rush into her mind like the tide. Sniffle, sob. You're crying, why? Why does your crying sound so annoying? You're annoyed? I can't feel it. Sorry, I'm so sorry, but I'm scared. Like the time Senora Cipelia locked me in a dark room. I can hear your voices clearly, but I can't hear what you're saying. My connection with our enlightened companions has been... severed. No, not just them. You're right here, Reverend Patrician, but... I can't even...
Sense me, I know.
What?
Be a good girl and don't let go of my hand.
Your hand. That's not what your hand feels like. It's like mist. Far away. You're so far away from me.
So, this is what it's like to fall into hell.
The changes do not end with her own body. Some old jokes have come true.
Every light that we know will one day be extinguished, and it is no exception.
The old pope playfully points to the halo hovering above his head. Even if everything about the Sancta existence is interpreted as its boon. Unease grows and panic spreads. Arturia tries to make sense of it all. This is not the same as what happened in Schwillingstern. There's no malevolent force sowing discord among the emotions of the people this time around. It is like a movement, one played countless times by an orchestra of the masses. Part of its melody forcibly plucked away, as if it never existed. Like walking along a road with the sun, the rain, your friends, and your home ahead of you, but you are torn away from it for no reason, leaving you feeling alone and helpless, alongside millions of your people. The Sancta will lose the cozy feeling, the cozy cabin of their faith. Everything has come to pass. Did you fall, Phi-MD? Did you fail, Phi-MD? If you're scared, you can hold on to my tail. You noticed Giselle's tears, didn't you, Romeo? You've forgotten what tears mean? Let's finish our song, okay? You see, Laterano hymns and Bolivarian hymns are quite different, so we need time to teach each other the parts we don't know. We will be here together. Isa la Unidad. Laterano, holy city of white. There, the earth hides no bombs. There, the fields share wheat most bright. All shall bask in his love. Arturia hears singing. It wavers, revealing the anxiety, terror, and worries of the singers, alongside pure, honest longing. A longing for tranquility, to see night fall in peace and quiet. Your Holiness, I have no doubt that Laterano, as it is, may be walking to its demise. But I also believe it has never been this sincere. I've said before that I can't hold off the apocalypse or overwrite death, and I refuse to lead. But maybe my arts can help them stave off this oncoming collapse. They will let my brethren, free of empathy, to communicate, without reservation, purely and honestly. Go listen to those songs, go share your emotions, go tell one another that, at this very moment, in the face of this indescribable loss, we still feel joy and sorrow together. This has nothing to do with saints and sinners, redemption and responsibility, or whichever path I walk. This is simply my reason to exist. Laterano, holy city of purest white, falls into night, but today, there may not be an electrical operator named outside there to turn on the city lights. Arturia takes off her gloves. She decides to play towards the setting sun. To her heart's content. Obtain medal, Lateran newborn. Happy birthday. Dang, that was a long one. And now for reunion. When the newborn song to meet the law once more, it'll take many years for the two to mend the voids in one another. Once more? Reunion? Oh my.
There you are, Federico. Your Holiness. Did you see the new products on the tea table? Evangelista 11 ice cream cake tower, 11 scoops of ice cream, 11 flavors of cactus. The 11th cake named after a pope. I'm a trained executor. I cannot see the name. I cannot see the same for my ability to evaluate desserts. Just a token of gratitude for not forgetting an old man on the brink of death. As you withdrew, of course, I plan to promote it throughout the city, in the hopes that the people may rediscover the taste of life, sooner rather than later.
Okay, I guess percussive maintenance worked since they got their wings and halos back.
Considering the flavor, I suspect it may cause even more controversy. It is true, however, that the citizens of Laterano are in dire need of a return to orderly life. Suicides and crime rates have soared in the past 3 months. Small-scale disturbances to large-scale exodus. There are more than 1,000 cases in the Notarial Hall's records. The rebuilding of the city has only just begun. The calamity has revealed too much and changed too much. The law was a cold machine, our saint was a loathsome abomination. All of us share the same roots as the devils. Any one of these truths is enough to destroy an individual's faith. This rebuilding will be a tremendous undertaking. Reconstruction of the damaged plates on which the 3rd and 4th tribunals are located has just begun. Efforts are underway to revitalize the economy. Laterano has not been so busy in a long time. I hope that the busy times will provide a way for the people to repair the cracks in their hearts. Speaking of which, what is your outlook on all this, Federico? Sancta, Laterano, faith, empathy, communication, and our society. The many important decisions that the Holy City has made over its millennia-long history, and even your canonization. It was all the result of him, a machine. The spiritual light has always been cold. Your innate lack of empathy has bestowed upon you an outlook of extreme logic. Perhaps he chose you because you were the one who could understand the logic of his simulation the best. I caught fragments of your conversation with him. Even after decades of talking to him, I must admit, you're more suited to the task. If I wasn't intimately familiar with the way you talk, I wouldn't have been able to tell who said what. If the law is a machine, a system, then the most effective method of communication is to think on his terms, with his language and his logic. But you're right at the opposite conclusion from him.
You wonder how the Pope would feel reading the reports of what's happening?
I remember every word of the tenets. and every name with which I've ever come into contact on my assignments. As far as Laterano is concerned, there is no great difference in the order required by machines and life. The existence of life is a miracle. Its two sides the opposing aspects of strength and fragility. Out of necessity, for survival and livelihood, we have continuously built and improved order. The law is simply part of it. The law exists to protect.
Federico pauses. The executor, known for his mechanical coldness, chooses his words carefully, a rare sight to behold.
The precious fragility of human life. Precious fragility? Such an interesting combination. Therefore, we rejected him. It was our joint decision, Your Holiness. Time will tell whether it was the right one. Go on. My mind, now that's certainly something.
Green? Green, not red now? Oh, because of the graffiti. What is that in your hand, Lemuel? A spray can. This place is deep underground and cold. This big rock is bare and gray. No wonder everyone who comes here leaves with their head hung low, like they got a heavy cold. I've had enough. I'm gonna give it a fresh coat of paint, so people who see it will be happy. Wanna join me? Don't look at me like that. I finished third in Lungmen in the Lungmen graffiti competition 2 years ago. You didn't forget what that is, did you? Just think of it as my way of making a wish. Anything you can't figure out, anything you haven't gotten done, spray it on the rock and maybe it'll come true. Wish? Didn't the Sancta Laterano come about because the saint made a wish? But it's all scrapped now. A rock is a rock. How do you scrap a rock? Besides, you're still here. Me, that girl selling ice cream, that gunsmith over there, and all the Sanctas around are witnessing your wish. Are witnesses to your wish. Who's to say that it's necessarily this rock that grants it? Think about all the things that have happened these past 3 months. Any of them would have made the headlines for an entire week in the old days. The entire holy city has been turned upside down. In the end, though, so many people chose to stay in these ruins. Our halos still shine. Life goes on, right? Just make a new wish. It's not that hard. I'll show you how. Apple Pie Logistics is opening up next week. The first civilians logistics company to be officially recognized by the Curia. Oh yes, Apple Pie Logistics. My wish is that it will grow and have lots of business. And that I'll have lots of time to stay with Mama and Tata and my sister. Can I make a wish for sugar-free ice cream? Sure. My wish is that Lateran genetics will change, and everybody will support my culinary research, so that their teeth and halos will never get cavities. With resilient perseverance, the dawn of a new day shines into the deepest reaches of Laterano, illuminating the green graffiti, and the stone has long grown dim. The Sanctas look up, light dances in the drifting dust. Beautiful.
The 7th Tribunal proposed a blockade and communications blackout over the area, but the proposal was not feasible. Hard to block it off when the plates have been so badly damaged. The basilica practically hangs over the side of a cliff. How do you stop curious passerby from looking down? Besides, the first saint has already revealed the truth to Laterano. All that our people are doing now is learn to face it. Notarial Hall records indicate that the last patient in the intensive care at Pagus Faber Central Hospital's Halo Surgery Division has been discharged to an observation ward. Which means that all the non-Sanctas who were given halos in this calamity are no longer troubled by an annoying light over their heads. It only took 3 months. The Sancta halos that were broken are also gradually recovering. Empathy continues to exist. It feels different now, but it's still a connection that belongs to the Sancta, and the Sancta alone. God is dead, is he not? You ordered Anduin and I to destroy him, and he revealed his weakness to us. We destroyed him with our own hands. I have confirmed that his functions have ceased completely. But the program that governs the Halo persists. Is the law still in effect? Let's look at this from another angle, Federico. You identified the inherent paradox in the law, A paradox is a combination of two things that cannot coexist. His last command to you was to eliminate the paradox. Then perhaps we have not destroyed the law itself, but only this erroneous conflict, the paradox itself. The logic stands, but different to process, and but difficult to process. The machine itself, after all, has ceased to operate. You're certainly correct. It was a thought that came to me suddenly as I was chewing on cactus yesterday. But I still believe that he left something behind for us. Perhaps the law of Laterano was never truly complete. He left behind for us a tabula rasa, waiting for us to communicate with them. That is why I've decided to repurpose this underground structure of the basilica as a public space, with which all citizens are welcome to view as they please. Where Laterano goes from here, and what new meaning the law will create, is a matter in which every sancta will have their say. It is as you said, Federico, time will tell.
Strange, where did it go? The extra grenade launcher maintenance kit is in the bottom drawer. I put the collector's edition disc in the sofa compartment.
Take a break from packing and pour me a cup of cactus juice. I just got back from the hospital and my throat is parched. Take a guess, what do you think happened? A sancta priest just officiated 5 straight funerals. He suddenly came down with a case of aphasia, while his wife suffered heart pain at the same time. But he was located in an ecclesia requiem on the outskirts, while his wife was in a gunsmithy downtown. Many similar cases have been reported. Several hospitals and churches submitted a joint report to the Curia last week, detailing the abnormal diagnosis. Over 1,000 sancta. The lights above our heads have come on again, but the strength and range of empathy seem to differ from person to person. Sanctas unfamiliar with one another only faintly sense each other's emotions, even in close proximity. Friends and family, however.
What's your point?
Things seem to have gone back to normal in Laterano, but we both know that fundamental changes have started to take place after a calamity of such scale. You shouldn't leave now, Fia.
I told you about Rhodes Island. Dr. Misaki is here in Laterano and helped us solve a bunch of problems behind the scenes. The doctor says there's been a major incident at Rhodes Island HQ, and the calamity that struck the holy city is no coincidence. There's something that links them together. The doctor set out on a new journey because of it. Mosima and I are both Rhodes Island operators. It's our job, and it's for the good of Laterano too. I need you to approve of my field mission application. You read the reasons.
You know what I did, don't you, Fia?
The Pope decided not to prosecute you. It's not my place to say anything. Besides, you did help people leave the procession at the very end. You did your duty as a gun knight.
You always let an old man off the hook easy.
It wasn't just you. The abomination had the support of pretty much every sancta, inside and outside the dream. On top of the influence of her empathy, you all had reasons to make Laterano a better place. Even if it still sounds dumb, and I still want to call you a sentimental old fool. But I do understand this stuff about parting. Like I said, there are certain things that I need to experience for myself, even if it does make you worry. I'll be back soon.
All I wanted to say, Fia, is that we didn't get a chance to watch 8-Armed Chainsaw Guy together yet. Paganini was right. We should try to leave as few regrets as we can before anything happens.
You're almost retired, aren't you, old man?
Yeah.
Want to go on a vacation together? Ooh, vacation time. Finally. Vanini stands before the door of the gunsmithy. After hesitating for a long while, she takes on the sign that says temporarily closed and pushes the door open. Magister.
Oh, enough with the yelling. It's just a halo check. What took you so long? Could be worse than my injuries.
Dr. Chandler says my language skills are getting better. He asked me if I would consent to be his research subject for speech pathology and halos. I'm not sure I got it.
I didn't and I don't care to. You sanctas are so complicated. And you can have your guardian gun back.
Is there a problem? You weren't around, so I had to figure it out best I could.
Of course there's a problem.
What?
The grip's too delicate. There's no room for power upgrades, nothing really wrong with the action design or the assembly work. And someone left this bunch of papers at the door. Have a look.
The curious mark. Could it be?
We're not in the dream. Nobody's closing the shop down. It's an order from the Curia. They want us to design heavy firearms for their new gun knights. Stop. Of course I know why they came to this tiny workshop. You shot him, didn't you, Vani?
Yeah.
Good girl.
I like that. Like, wow, that's my girl.
Good girl. Set an old score for me. Now the past is the past, and I don't want to talk about it again. You decide whether to take the order.
Me?
Who else? Me? I never expected to still be breathing by now. My chest still hurts. I can't see the parts clearly, and I can't hold a barrel firm anymore. You made your first gun, and ripped the seal that your lord placed on your mouth. The hard part is over. The path is yours to walk. Just don't ruin my reputation. You can do that, can't you?
Back at the office. Yes, Elle's already left. I told you. It's a curious decision. This calamity is merely a starting point for both Laterano and the other nations. We need to recover and strengthen our ties with other nations. Elle's the best songster for the job, considering her experience in Lungmen and her relationship with Rhodes Island. He left a message. Mama, Tata, let's send Lemuel off on her next adventure with a bang. Let's pray it's not her bowels that go off with a bang. She drank all the sissy milk I left for her in the fridge before she left. Maybe she was worried I'll be hungry. Anyway, I've gotta go to work. Hey, girl. This terminal. You're looking at Amos' effects again.
They said his last moments were with you.
Yes, I heard his last words and restored his mailbox history accordingly.
Such a fool, wasn't he? Let's cut straight to the chase. What judgment are you going to pass on my new crimes this time, Cardinal Lemoine?
I take it you admit responsibility for the robbery of that caravan in the western outskirts of the Holy City?
Don't tell me you couldn't tell they were professional soldiers.
From Gododen. We're not passing any judgment. The outcome was undoubtedly favorable for the Seventh Tribunal.
They just caught me in a bad mood.
The Cure will accommodate Sister Nueda and the Bolivarians who came to Laterano with you. Regardless of your motivation, your attack on Patricion worked to her advantage. The Cure sees no need to pursue the matter of your unauthorized return to this holy city any further.
Oh, what? Laterano still wants to put up a front of purity and clemency, even after waking from the dream. You make a show of forgiving a sinner who fell into hell? Are you really that stupid? That monster paraded through the streets of Laterano as she gave her speech. It's so secret that angels and devils came from the same place anymore. The city's revolting facade has been stripped away. Without the foundation of its holiness, the holy city is nothing more than a tiny city-state. Do you think its posturing will continue with the sympathy of Lithuanian or Ursus? You misunderstand. Laterano will make no show of clemency. Your exile still stands. You're not permitted to return to the Holy City. However, the Cure is interested in offering you an employment contract. Employment?
To do what you just did.
As if the Laterans don't do their own dirty work.
Of course not, Gun Knight, Cardinal, Pontifical Cohors, Legatus. Nobody's immune to sin, but times have changed. Your judgment was not wrong. Next time, it may not be a scouting force that shows up on the outskirts of the Holy City. The most radical transgression in one era may be necessary for survival in another. You were decisive, if nothing else.
Why do you think I would accept?
Can I ask you a question? You left Laterano after a big fight with Amos, something that he always regretted. What was the reason for the fight? So the only one who didn't make it out of this was Amos.
Honey, why are you bringing this up again? Yes, Patrician didn't show up to the wedding or even give us his blessing, but he's still your mentor.
Is he?
Besides, it won't change anything. No, it won't. He won't die just because you crush his soul. And he could even take your job from you. But if you don't even have the guts to do this, then you're a coward, Amos. I'm leaving. Just another pointless argument.
You seen the documents in the terminal? I was thinking, maybe the words that Amos left unsaid were, no matter what kind of person you are, whether your union was blessed or not, none of that would alter his faith in you. The faith that you were each other's salvation. No, I wasn't sure if you would accept that curious proposal. We all have issues that even empathy can't fully communicate. Tasks that we can't let go, and uncertain futures. There's much that I have to think about myself. If hatred is what helps you cope, then maybe that's the right path for you. Perhaps this is what Amos wanted to see. Still hanging on in there, Extra.
Arg, I know your heartbeat and your warmth. I know your fear and your joy. If I am blessed by the law, you shall have mercy in your life.
Praying? Now's hardly the time. Wait, you're sarcasm. Where do you learn to do that? What the? Bebe. Did it go well? Yeah. Then what's with that look on your face? A halo. What? The Sarkaz's child, that Sarkaz newborn, has a halo. She said her husband was Sarkaz too, right? The baby's not mixed like Cecilia. And we're not in the bloody dream either. This nomadic abbey is a long way from Laterano. Where's Anduin? He went out as soon as the abbey stopped, said he was going to forage and pick a flower to celebrate the birth of a new miracle. I have a feeling he had a premonition of what was going to happen. Do you remember? We found Anduin by the pit after the calamity came to a close. He was almost completely blind, and he refused to tell us what happened beneath the basilica. A joint court of the 1st, 5th, and 6th and 7th tribunals put him on trial. Nobody knows how exactly the trial was concluded, only that he was exiled as a result. He is never to return to Laterano, but he was allowed to live on this nomadic abbey. Don't think too much about it. It was Anduin's decision to disband the Pathfinders. As he said, we don't need to seek anything from Laterano anymore. Some brothers and sisters have chosen to stay behind in Laterano, while others have returned to their homes. A dozen have chosen to follow him here. Whatever his true hopes for this abbey are, there's at least one thing that is certain. We're trying to help more people. Say, shouldn't he be back by now?
The Sark has learned to pray in that shrine. She established a connection with the law on her own. As for us, we only truly spoke with him for the first time after the disintegration of our own faith. If faith is a response to life, then a new law has been born, here and now. The crisis has not been averted. Indeed, our rejection of the other possibility has made it even more unknown and pressing. Fortunately, a new possibility also lies ahead. Where will you take it, Anduin?
The wind carries the cries of the newborn. The Sancta stops on the hill, a wild flower in his hand. His eyes no longer see, but he continues to look up, standing in the same spot unmoving, as though he can see the tiny speck of light. After a while, Anduin walks toward the nomadic abbey on the other side of the hill. He leaves Laterano and never turns back. No one counts his sins. No one laments the scores of the past. No one sees him off. No one knows of his departure. There's nothing in his heart that needs resolution. He caresses an aged book and keeps walking until he's no more than a tiny point in the vast wilderness. The martyr shall find a final rest at the end of a long journey. Until then, he shall not rest. Dang, though, the new Bebe wins. And yeah, he better not go out to get some milk. Like, what the heck, dude? That would be so freaking rude. Voyage. We pray for the future. We walk towards our destined reunion. We are not alone. So if Anduin does go out for milk, I wonder how Katya will feel. It's like, again? You left us again? You determine that the momentous migration has come to a conclusion in reality. The conclusion has been mapped onto the space you're in. The rift now looks as if it has been plowed but opened by catastrophe, bisects the plaza in front of the basilica. By the rift, there's an even more eye-grabbing pit. Ugly scars in what should have been a city trapped in stasis. The ring-shaped machine sits silently within. Did the PCS system crash? You look at Priestess. She remains calm, as if she does not care about what has happened in the slightest. You feel uneasy. Analysis complete. 10 standard seconds ago, at least 2 massive explosions took place in the Basilica Plaza. I'm certain the instigators were Apple Pie, Executor, and the silver-haired Sancta. The constant flickering of the freeze frames by the explosion point are proof enough. The programmatic bombs we helped Apple Pie make worked. The machine structure shouldn't have been that weak. You're right. Its structure would definitely have been able to withstand any attacks the angels can execute. It was designed to operate in an even harsher environment after all. Priestess should have been able to reactivate it. We need to stop her from doing that. Sorry, Doctor. I should have come alone to carry out this mission. I never should have let you take on this risk. You're used to standing in front of me by now, monster. Smile. Thanks. Huh? Things might not have been as bad as you think. I can verify Priestess's condition now. Her condition? You walk past Monster towards Priestess. Monster immediately tenses up and she pulls on your arm. Doctor! Don't worry. Trust me. Don't worry. After a brief moment of hesitation, she lets go but decides to stay close to you as you walk ahead. You stand shoulder to shoulder with Priestess. The city's scars are rather inharmonious. You've allowed these redundant parameters to mix in with your data. The city's scars are rather inharmonious. These unremarkable strings ultimately cause the entire program to crash. Misaki, there's no guaranteeing a language will operate in eternal perfection. I know what you want to say, even Originium. The language we create together has limitations. It needs more time to adjust and iterate. Sometimes, I cannot help but wonder if what is truly stopping Originium from reaching perfection is not a design flaw, but us. Human emotion and reason are both able to fetter the development of a language. We debated this several times during the creation process, but there was never a clear winner. Luckily, we both accepted that this uncertainty exists within Originium. I don't understand your meaning. Has memory loss affected your ability for divergent thinking? I'm glad to see you so perplexed, though. It's a marked difference from how I used to communicate with Misaki. Perfection implies a strict upper bound. Flaw, on the other hand, means we still have a chance for a breakthrough. That was Misaki's stance on the matter. When the crisis we must resolve is still inexplicable, having chased perfection will only lead us to our graves. No, this has nothing to do with the current circumstances. You can't change the situation. This is different from our first encounter on the deck. You can't change the situation. When did you figure it out? Just now. You could have stopped the programmatic bombs from detonating. You could have used Originium to close the rift. You could have left the Saints trapped in the maze. All the above. It would have been easy for you to do that. It's like when you awakened and ruined Rhode Island. It would have been easy for you to do that. You didn't eliminate Monster and me from the get-go. You've got problems of your own. That much is obvious, Misaki. But only now have you mustered up the courage to stand by me. I'd hoped that the one standing by my side would have been peacefully. I'd hoped that the one standing by my side could have peacefully shared in the solitude that root deep took root deep in our thoughts during our long hibernations. It's a shame you can't do that. We're not as we were in the past. Far too much has happened since, has it not? You really haven't hid anything from me. You're more like a riddle. You really haven't hid anything from me. Still curious about me? This monster no longer has any limitations on her. She can clear up some of your confusion. You fear Misaki will learn the truth, Amaten? To be honest, I would much rather Misaki come to me in person, like earlier. My days in the sarcophagus were excruciating. It was as if my thoughts were floating through a fetid morass, wherein I lost all sense of flow of time. My only consolation was the never-ending loop of debates seared into our minds. Though not to reassure me of our shared vision, I've never once doubted my path. Through debate, I got my only chance to communicate with a certain someone again. I'm not demanding you understand everything on my mind right away. Before the final day comes, you can continue to walk the path you believe in. Our disagreements are destined to continue, even if you no longer remember that one's reasons for disagreeing with me. I look forward to seeing how your beloved Terra can prove to me that your struggle still has some value. The way the people of Laterano just did. But there is something else I am equally certain of. Oracle will return. So Misaki, I will wait for you. As she looks out at the city devoid of life, she sighs. At times, I think they are far too like us. If you had enough time, perhaps. She begins to fade away. Ah yes, you can indeed restore Amaten. If you are determined to see it done, make a wish to Arginia, Misaki. I will hear your voice. Aw, it's kind of sad though. The time in the sarcophagus was excruciating for her. All that kept her going was her thoughts of her old debates with the Oracle. Like, dang girl, the dedication. Priestess vanishes without a trace. Your target is gone. Aww. I mean, she truly believes it, so for her it's certainty. There's only silence, absolute silence. You and Monster are the only ones left trapped inside this colorless ghost town. She's gone. I guess that's it then? Perhaps. The Sanctus resolved the crisis for themselves. I've also confirmed Priestess's current condition. Her loss of control over Reginium is more serious than we thought. That's really important information, Doctor. We can't be sure how long she'll need to get back to normal. At the very least, we'll have a chance to stop her. Oh right, she mentioned Kelsey earlier. I don't trust her, Monster. We shouldn't wish upon Originium, even if it's for Kelsey. I know. I don't approve of her using her methods to bring Kelsey back either. She inflicted grievous wounds on Rhodes Island and Laterano. Every time she appears, she drops something mind-blowing on us, and then points towards some even more unknowable crisis. I don't understand her at all. We've been searching for a long time now. We have our own methods. We're going to be setting out on a really long road, aren't we? You finally notice what's odd about Monster. Your enemy has retreated, the crisis has passed, but the young woman, normally so lively and energetic, does not smile like she usually does. She even looks somewhat solemn. Monster hasn't been reconstructed for very long. You still haven't gotten completely used to her new appearance, nor has she had the time to adapt to the changes in her body, or the loss that cut her to the bone. But she has been thrown into mission after mission far too quickly. Rebuilding Rhodes Island, saving Laterano, perhaps, is taking up until now for her to finally have a chance to speak her mind. Aww. No need to be so pessimistic, Monster. Don't give up, Monster. I'll bring back Kelsey. I'll also protect Mia, and you too. Monster looks up at you all of a sudden, interrupting your train of thought. Yeah, Kelsey would be so pissed off if we had Priestess help bring her back. I haven't forgotten what Kelsey told me. If the outcome I fear most does come to pass, If the one I least want to see stands in front of us once more, protect the doctor, protect Amiya. I will engrave this directive into your basic behavioral strategy matrix. Eternal life is destined to be eternally lonely. I've tasted it. You can walk alone. Monster. Listen to me, monster. You look at her, and slowly, you begin to speak. You haven't been in your reconstructed body for very long. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Kelsey wouldn't want her hopes to turn into chains. Don't too much pressure on yourself. I think you're misunderstanding something, Doctor. I'll always remember how, when I awoke, you just turned around and walked away after giving me a welcome back. Oh. Sorry, monster! It's fine, it's fine. I needed time to get used to not being in a symbiotic relationship after thousands of years. And you needed time to accept the loss of someone that you fought beside for such a long time. Now, we're both standing here, right in front of one another. But we've already known each other for quite a while, haven't we, Doctor? Under the cannon fire of Londinium, deep inside the secret caverns of the Sarkaz, below the tell that giant ring flying into the sky in Trimonts, in Millennium's Sophon Theatrum. You wonder just how exactly did Kelsey understand Priestess for her to be so hateful towards her? Well, we saw Kelsey, or kind of saw how Kelsey was made by Priestess and us. So...
Oh gosh, Priestess was a bad mother.
Kelsey was there for all those, which means I was too. It's not like I only started to follow her orders to understand you in Rhodes Island when she left us. Becoming a Rhodes Island operator, putting up a fight against our creator, protecting Amiya, protecting you. These are my decisions as well. And what I've been doing all along. Silence. You look at Monster, silence links the two of you. Then call me in, Monster. We'll bring Kelsey back. We'll walk to the end of this uncharted road. We'll bring Kelsey back. Eternal life is destined to be eternally lonely, but thankfully, we do not walk alone on the journeys we take. Even if all life is sapped of color, even if all things fade away into nothingness, we can and must walk onwards together. This is what she had hoped for. Oh, what's wrong? Another question to ponder? What's wrong? What's with the look? Counseling session is over, Commander. No problems here. I just come up with a way to get out of this blasted place. I don't need your help. According to Priestess, there should be a space created by the machine after it connected to Originium. Some kind of model based on the future. So there's a relation to Originium's properties here. We can try cracking those abnormal nodes. Abnormal nodes? Ah, you mean the parts with damage mapped onto them? The restriction on the connection between you and the machine should be gone, right? Yep, I can sense its signal, though it's getting weaker by the second. I'll try re-establishing the connection. But what then? Keep requesting refactoring of the abnormal codes. Use it the last of its computing power. Shouldn't it be difficult? Yeah, shouldn't it be too difficult for me when Priestess isn't meddling with things? Routing through the city communication post backdoor access port. Special privileges, AMA 10. Temporary access for credentials, Ilcaro 001, Oracle. Decoding complete. Authentication passed. Connected to PCS system. Thinking computational radiation link. Warning, core frequency too low. Diagnostic complete. Refactoring abnormal nodes. Color seeps out from the ruins of the colorless ghost town. Stare. It starts on the street to the right of the Tower Revelations, and then through the Notarial Hall and Firearms Workshops in Pagus Michaelion to the Sunset Chapel in Pagus St. Marcel, and then all the way to the Chapel Square. Noise returns to the Holy City. Is the sound of Laterans offering a prayer to life. The color's back? Let's go, Monster. Not going to go say hi to Apple Pie? No need to hold her up before her reunion with her family and friends. We need to update the ship on what happened here in Laterano. Priestess's disappearance will only be temporary. Priestess will make her next move soon. Our mission isn't over yet. Transfiguration suspended. Set of directives assigned by personnel with relevant privileges have been completed. Beginning system shutdown timer. I've checked your low-level code. Aside from the adjustments I made during maintenance, you performed a lot of self-upgrades and iterations within a short period of time. Was it still not enough for your self-repair functions to fix your logic vulnerability? Yeah, we were moral support. Negative. Vulnerability has been patched. Paradox has been corrected. I had great interest in the results of your self-iteration. Seems you mistakenly identified yourself as that vulnerability, that paradox. Was it a side effect of the overclocking? Or did your lack of maintenance and long-term data transfer with the Sanctas pollute your database? If I had more data, I might be able to find the answer. It's a shame the resources I can allocate will not be enough to give you a complete restart. Otherwise, the command system's self-negation due to its target's wishes would reignite any researcher's interest in the PCS system. If only we were still in that era when geniuses used reason and opinion to clash over their views. The ring-shaped machine does not respond. Priestess feels a hint of regret. Seems I will have no choice other Seems I'll have to choose other methods to advance the project. Many mechanical cubes come together to form an annular computational matrix, the core of the machine. They sit there in a stony silence. But all of a sudden, one of the cubes begins to vibrate, a metallic gleam roaming its surface once more. Soon a faint flickering halo begins to form. In the ruins of the PCS system, a new angel is born. It restarted? It can't be. It didn't respond to me at all, nor does this follow the PCS system's operational logic. The angel ignores Priestess, quickly ascending to the gaping hole above it, appearing without a trace soon after. A prototype angel? The system was only built to mimic the properties of angels. There's never been any angel prototype sample provided when it was constructed. A newborn angel? How could this be? Happy birthday. What is that in your hand, Lemuel? Hehe, a spray can. Like, look at them. Drawing on my baby, my machine.
I'd given the report on the latest data from the barrier hole to Director Saria. But there was something I noticed that got me real curious.
And hello.
Look. Doesn't it look like some kind of strange flying object to you?
Components control section is analyzing it right now. We should be hearing from them soon. Flying object that can maintain an altitude close to the barrier hole would be a major discovery. The angel hovers in front of the hole in the barrier. It attempts to reestablish a connection with individuals scattered across the stars, but to no avail. All it manages to capture are the ripples left behind by energy entities as they die in the depths of space. And so it continues to orbit across the land, like a shooting star destined to never fall. Forest time. The scent of life. This land is still young. Is it new life flourishing in the wake of ruination? Or has death not come for this place yet? Wasn't I swallowed up by that light? Originium is recorded information. Originium? Before the light comes, the conclusion is still uncertain. Originium will become our hope. Where is this place? Terra. We're not alone, my friend. Did you see the latest news, Miss Kolshena? Miss Kolshena? Lots of mines have shut down, and they put troops in high alert all across the city. My parents were called in for an inspection. I can't find them.
Stay in the classroom for now. I will help ask around for you. I'm also interested in knowing what is going on.
Of course you'd be interested. She calms the child down and then takes the newspaper from their hand. And yes, PCS became an angel in the end. Over a few short days, countless rumors have spread across the city, but the most alarming one is our originium vein has disappeared. If we can't get any energy out of Mother Earth, how are we supposed to make it through the winter?
Originium.
I shall unravel this mystery. Only the blood burning within our breasts can see Ursus through the winter chill.
Once we tie things up here, I'll do everything it'll do as everyone's new abode, Hierda.
I hear it. Thank you all for your help.
Good thing you had supplies from our friends at the monastery, otherwise finding a place to stay wouldn't have gone so smoothly. We're worried that you had abandoned us after heading back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. The road back was rather long. It's rather rough going, and I heard lots of news I could barely even believe along the way.
It's mighty hard to imagine, yeah. The Originium veins, Laterano. The Sanctas and the monastery shared a lot to say about your return. Wouldn't stop telling us all about it.
Huh?
When the calamity was going on, they wanted to go back to Laterano, but a catastrophe stopped them. Their halos were shattered, and all they could do was stay here and pray for themselves and for their brothers and sisters who had already left. Then you showed up right in front of them. A girl who disappeared without a trace 3 years ago. You brought them hope, Hierda.
Oh my, did I? I really don't want to let everyone down. Maybe now that we have a fixed shelter, we can help even more people.
But we still need to take some necessary security precautions. With us pulling out all the stops from our work, we're bound to attract people up to no good. You'll be in danger. Honestly speaking, we might be able to find a better way to do this.
Yurda shakes her head. I need to see her. She must be somewhere here on this land. Yurda looks out into the distance. Despite knowing the vast wilderness will show her nothing in return. He sees something streaking across the sky. A shooting star? Anyway, Originium should not be a source of despair. I would like to pray for all infected who suffer.
Will praying actually do anything?
Maybe not. But when we pray, we'll think of each other. Our bonds bind us together. We're not alone. The Iberian coast, a cliff by the sea. A seaboard clings tight to the sharp rocks. The sound of distant naval barrages is carried over by the sea breeze. The seaboard does not care, focusing its efforts on climbing. It clearly flaps membranous wings. Unfolds creases enthusiastically. Oh yeah, there is, since I put on reactive images. The seaboard finally arrives at the peak of the cliff. What greets it is a boundless expanse of dry land, and a flash of light up amidst the heavens. A shooting star? The seaboard shifts its body in confusion in response to the momentary distraction, and its appendages brush up against something. A shining black rock rolls off the cliff, dropping straight down to the ocean. The seaboard tries to see what it was, but has already been engulfed by the billowing waves. A black rock. Interesting. I wonder how that rock goes. Wow, though. A glance at the stars, an audience with God, and then rest in peace. That is just insanity. And now I switch accounts, right? You see parallels. Kyoto's eyes witness the truth. He sees crystal clear, but Anduin witnessed the same truth. And he was left blind. So gosh darn it, Anduin. Trying to go for the past. Like, silly Anduin. Don't mind me, gonna go to the notes now, so let me just switch on over. Over here. Out. Thank you for the okairi.
To discuss, I want to discuss a rather ethical when it comes to simulation. It kind Originium is like
Arknights.
the soil, right? Like they came from it and will return from it. Back from the sea of information, the endpoint south to sea. Originium to originium, dust to dust, made from soil shall return from soil, from where once it came from. In one side, it can be a rather agonizing death over usage of arts dependent on their infection. Or infected without medications can be painful as well. And there's Hirta. One could say what she is able to do. Her miracle would be a possible threat because she is essentially quote unquote assimilating them. But in her case, her miracle might increase the rate of the infection in exchange of taking away their pain of oripathy as well, improving their physical body with it. After all, no things are without consequences, but the way I see it, they were doomed either way. Kira's way is to offer let us say a more kinder end, especially to the infected who has the most severe infection. For Princess assimilation, Calcit is the prime example. Her assimilation was so fast. No pain, no thoughts, like once you blink an eye, then you're asleep, all black. I guess for me, I don't consider assimilation as much as the same way as Calcit does. For you, what do you make of this?
For simulation, like, I do think simulation is peaceful, like, overall. No one has to, no fears, no pains, no worries. Same time, I wouldn't want it personally. Like, sorry, priestess, sorry, lord of fiends. Like, even sorry to the first saint. But nah.
Going to be more active than I expected. I, for one, am excited for that. She's going to be in this. She's going to be in this land personally, interacted personally. Also, she has one connection in Terra, that is Hirta. If there is some hope, then I hope she comes to love this land. After all, I feel like this kind of encounter will happen more often from now on since she has been fully awakened. But if there's one thing that would hold her back, it would be she has all the time in the universe, yet she acts like she has no time at all. Like a consequence will occur if she do not make it in time. That is my view based on her actions and decisions so far. Why we do not know and understand yet.
At this point, priestess is just getting very, oh gosh, I just forgot the word. Impatient. Yes, impatient's the word. Like, I don't blame her. I don't know how many experiences they went through over all this time. All failure. I could see her wanting this to finally be a success. It's like, come on, give us results already. Thousands upon thousands of years. Come on. Bit more. All before the overseers come down. Or the presence comes down. So there's like a little bit time left for this experiment. So I could see like some, you know, wanting to rush things. I'm not sure if impatience is the right word. That's the first word that came to mind. When trying to, like, you know, speed things up. Yeah, I guess word would be a better word in that case. Yeah, it's difficult to describe. That's why I'm like, I don't know what the word. Thinking is impatient the word because she's trying to speed things up. Worrying's also a word because speeding things up. And yeah, the looming threat of the observers.
What would be these things? Is now in Terra going to interact more in Terra? For you, what would be your hope for her? Since she's going to be, let's say, more involved from here on out.
My hope for her right now is kind of like what she did in this event. Was only there to observe, basically. I don't really think that she needs to help us out what we're doing. I just rather her not, like, hinder us. Like, it'd be nice if we could all get along well, but that's probably not gonna happen. Just staying neutral's fine. By the way, for this part, is it workshop log first or the orders first? Okay, it's top to bottom. So these first and then this thingy. So let's see what their orders are like. So Vanini's order, firearm cleaning solvent. In the evening, you feel a bottle of firearm cleaning solvent under the table. The liquid inside is long since dried up, but there is still a faint sweet scent of vanilla. You think back. Vanini was still a child at the time, and she hadn't been at the workshop for very long. The Notarel Haas sent over her mother's patron firearm. She held onto that filthy gun, still covered in bloodstains. You didn't want to think too hard about where they came from. He brought her to the workroom, explained to her how to clean a gun. You asked her if she needed help, but she said nothing. You wanted to stay and keep her company. Then you saw her lover, and then you saw her lower her head. You were at a loss. Thinking she wanted to be by herself for a while, with a sigh, you turned and headed back upstairs. The moment you heard the glass shattering, you hurried back downstairs. The workbench was completely covered in solvent, and all Vanini did was tremble as she stood in shock of the scene of the accident. You wanted to say something to console her, but it was clear that no matter what you'd said, she'd only reply with silence. She had lost her family and was suffering. You knew this much and tried many times to find an inroad to her heart, but you never found the right place to start. You relived the fatigue that you felt at the time, ignoring the fact that the bottle had shattered long ago. Vanini's Order, series on child psychology. In the middle of the night, you knock a few books off the bookshelf. They open as you pick them up, and a report greets you from among the pages. You're reminded of the day you brought Vanini to the doctors all across the city. Medical report. Pega's favorite central hospital, Halo surgery patient, suffers from a speech impediment, speaking with only great difficulty, and with severe lexical deficiency. Patient also shows mild difficulties in reading and writing. Diagnosis is psychogenic aphasia. Aside from medication, considering the family's particular circumstances, weekly empathy contact sessions at this hospital has been suggested. You couldn't rely on empathy to read the girl's mind, so at the doctor's suggestion, you bought Little Halo, Little Heart, a series of books about Sancta child psychology. You memorized every passage in those books, but when you saw her stuttering in front of you, the grim reality set in. Every sentence of these lousy books was based on a centric premise. Both you and your child have big, bright halos on your heads. But you don't have one. Not then, not now. What a shame. Those books were useless to you. You relived the anxiety and anger you felt at the time, ignoring the fact that you tore these books to shreds in a fit of rage long ago. Aw, it's cute. Sure. The EX and EX Plus stage. Vanini's Order cape. Late at night, you notice a feather cape on the sofa. You pick it up and find the label, and it reminded of a winter several years ago, made from 100% Paganini feathers. Wow, wonderful! Dry clean only. Do not wash at over 30 degrees. Hang dry. Iron at low temperature. Do not bleach. Laundry rag or laundry tag. Whenever Vanini felt cold, she would bury herself in your thick feathers, only sticking her face out every once. She was nearly out of breath. Every molting season, you would gather a big sack worth of feathers and pick out the most beautiful and lustrous ones to make a cape. It took you a good few years to do it, since your feathers are always rather dull and drab from the lack of rest. Once she got the cape, Vanini took about half a day to express her gratitude. It was an incredibly long speech, all in all, but you couldn't have asked for a better payment. That is so cute! You held back tears as you gazed at her. You didn't speak, and she didn't either, electing instead to nervously twiddle her thumbs. You relived the joy and happiness you felt at the time, forgetting about the time you threw your oil-stained work clothes in the filthy laundry basket labeled dry clean only. The cape was stained in iridescent oil long ago. Oof! Dry clean only. Ah. Mostly man Fiametta. The order is Target. In the evening, you find a large stack of documents in the filing cabinet, hidden away for years, their pages long yellowed. You think back to all those years ago, to the first time St. Theodore's Comprehensive School invited you to make patron firearms for their students. First semester comprehensive shooting course, rankings year. Beep. Oh, oops. Oh yeah, there was that. I didn't realize I had to click on that middle one. Vanini's Order. First patron firearm. The first firearm Vanini made as an apprentice. Completed under the guidance of her master Paganini. Its manufacture makes it clear it was created by a novice, but its various innovations are proof enough of her talent as a gunsmith. Actually, maybe I should start with those then. So, Multima and Fiametta's order. Unclaimed firearm order gift box. Multima's second gun, commissioned by her friend Fiametta as a birthday gift. Very expensive, with quality to match. Unanimously praised by the gunsmiths of Villa Burgos, and honored with that year's Gun of the Year award. Dang, that is a nice present. So back to Target. First semester comprehensive shooting course, rankings year beep. First, Fiametta. Second, Lemwen. Third, Mostima. Fourth, Helia. Second semester comprehensive school course rankings year beep. First, Lemwen. Second, Fiametta. Third, Mostima. Fourth, Helia. First semester comprehensive shooting course rankings year beep. First, Fiametta. Second, Lemwen. Third, Mostima. Fourth, Helia. Class of beep graduates, patron firearms manufacturer list. Number 1, Lemwen. Number 2, Mostima. Number 3, Kalia. You flipped through the files one after the other and blurted out to the teacher that the child named Fiametta wasn't on the list. You were informed that she was a library. The regret clouding the teacher's eyes left you at a loss. You feel frustrated, ignoring the fact that you never brought that list back to your workshop after pursuing it. Dang though, Lemwen and Fiametta. They did so good for the course rankings, but too bad she could not graduate with a patron firearm. Sad. Poor Fia. Mostima and Fiametta's order, raisin cake. Okay, I don't like raisins, but I'm willing to try this. I'll eat it. I hunger. All I ate today was a bagel with cream cheese. At night, you find a piece of cake in the refrigerator. After sating your hunger, you think back to how astonished you were the first time you had it. Every time they were done with the mission, that one squad would always come to your workshop for weapon maintenance, bringing with them some of that cake you adored. The Sanctas treated their patron firearms like their babies, hoping you could clean them with utmost gentleness. The library, on the other hand, would always ask you questions with a straight face. Can you make the grenade launcher fire further? Can you improve the rifling? Changing out the attachments is a pain in the ass. Anything you do to fix it? These people. Yes, I want to be neutral with her just because Priestess low-key reminds me of Ruan Mei in Star Rail, and I like Ruan Mei. So, hi, Priestess. I know we've had our differences, but I kind of want to get to know you more. At least until you told her you could, but first, she had to be okay with swapping out a transmitter, since the current one was barely more than a worn-out lump of iron. As straight face as ever, she said, "Then swap it already." You sighed with relief that this wasn't a patron firearm. If it were, its owner would have been going mad with worry over the damage. She turned back to her friends, one of them sobbing her eyes out after having to change her gun's sights. Soon after, the corners of the library's mouth turned upwards, and she said rather happily, "Good thing I don't have a guardian gun." You're enraptured by the taste, forgetting that these raisin cakes were never actually that tasty, since they were always pranksters embedding odd tasty candy in them. Oh, it's a prank! Mostima and Fiametta's order, old pocket watch. Late at night, you raise your head, while in the middle of work to check the time. It's nearly midnight. You remember the last time Signora Fiametta came to your workshop. It was rather late at night too. She was in a gloomy mood, as she told you the owner of the gun of the year was already far from Laterano, and that before she left, all she did was give Fiametta a pocket watch, telling her to look after it. She rubbed her forehead as she grumbled, "We all got over it, but I just can't. I'm always the one step behind them. I get it." Just like this watch, the woman went and gave me a watch that can't even keep time. You handed her a cup of wine, took the pocket watch she handed to you, and got its mechanism working again. Its hands leaping back to life, you suddenly realized why Mostima left her pocket watch with her.
I think.
You choose your words carefully as you try to console her.
Look at the watch, Signor Fiametta. The second and minute hands are both swift. While the hour hand may lag behind them, at midnight, the three will always reunite, and a new day will dawn. These three hands, they come together to form this watch.
She sighed, broke out into a smile, and then laughed. You continue on your work, so busy you forgot that Phi-MD never came by that day. He never came by that day, huh? Very haunting. Patrician. Gun Knight's rotary machine gun. The gun that made Paganini famous, and Patrician's first heavy firearm after becoming a gun knight. Artisanal machining and military standardization joined together to form a masterpiece. Patrician's order, Medal of Honor. In the evening, you receive a greeting from an old friend. As you think back to the little moments when you were friends, your mind is left in disarray. The silver papal gun knight medal, established by then Pope Ludovico IV on February the 14th of 1029, was made to honor trainee knights who displayed especially outstanding skill, allowing them to skip the final examinations and formally joining the gun knights early. The youngest of these recipients, Patrician, was only 26 years of age. At the award ceremony, you're part of the crowd. You saw the Pope himself pin the medal onto Patrician. Your younger cousin Gia was holding your hand tightly, transmitting both her excitement and nervousness to you. After paying his respects to the Pope, he scanned the crowd anxiously. You and Gia held your arms up high, shouting as much as you could. The moment he saw the two of you, he broke out into a smile. You looked at him as he looked back, your heart full of pride. The two of you had a pact. If he managed to get this medal, then you didn't trust that giant gun you made recently to him. You had voiced your doubts. In your heart, you knew there was nobody else worthy to wield your masterpiece, aside from that smiling, splendid little bastard. You don't answer his message, throwing your communicator aside in irritation, completely forgetting that, at the time, it wasn't you who locked eyes with him, but Gia. Oh, Patrician and Gia, huh? Patrician's order, grandmother's necklace. At night, you receive a necklace from Colombia in the mail. It looks very familiar, and you can't help but wonder where you've seen it before. Patri, I'll be leaving you this necklace. If you ever find the right girl one day, give it to her to wear, then bring her to my grave for me to have a look. July would be best. The jasmines will be in bloom. The portion of Patrician's grandmother's will concerning him. That day, you saw Patrician putting that necklace around Gia's neck as she looked down bashfully. Oh no! Oops. Well, Patrician and Gia, huh? Oh, this is doomed. Their wedding was to be in July, and you were the best man, organizing the entire wedding in the lovebirds' place. When the two of them confessed their relationship to you, at first you were angry at them for hiding it from you, but that anger quickly turned to joy. You had long hoped he would become a part of your family. After all, ever since his grandmother passed, he was the only one left in his. Oh, this is gonna be hard to finish. The necklace comes with news of Gia's death. You endure the grief, forgetting how on that day you weren't actually that happy. He had whispered to you about how her knee was always aching lately. Uh-oh. Patrician's order, incoming mail. Late at night, you take out the letter from inside the safe. A letter Gia entrusted to you to give to Patrician. You never did, you think back. Mission notice, date of mission 0721. Mission objective, exiling a neuropathy patient from the Holy City. Executor Patrician. From June to July, you looked for Patrician countless times, hoping there could be some room for negotiation, even if Gia had to stay at the Covenant outside the Holy City. It'll be fine. But he was silent, spitting out only a single sentence after a long while.
The law cannot be violated.
You gave Gia a hug before sending her off to the waiting convoy outside the Holy City. It was a raging hot July, but her hands were ice cold. Patrician stood by the convoy, carrying his gun, not saying a word. He glanced incessantly at you and Gia, but he never dared to look you two of you in the face. You put the letter and the necklace back into the safe, deleting Patrician's number as you do so. Grief made you forget that you never had his number. Ouch. Well, I didn't realize Patrizian and Gia were together. And he was the one who sent her off. No wonder why Paganini was extra salty. Like, how long were these two together? Because, like, over here, it wasn't you who locked eyes with him, but Gia. So I bet they were still together at this time. Like, heck. They mentioned how they were childhood friends in the story, so... Childhood friends, two of them fell in love. They finally confessed their love. He being like, yeah, we're in a relationship, we're gonna get married. And then, bam, exile. Ah, that hurts. Ouch. And now for Idita. Idita's order, sugar-free ice cream. First batch of sugar-free ice cream Idita made. Paganini at the gunsmithy is her only regular customer. Even with her door-to-door sales technique, most Laterans still see it as heresy. I don't like sugar-free stuff either, so... I get that. Yeah, Patrician is relationship goals of what not to do. Idita's order, dentist mirror. In the depths of the fridge, there is always a carton of your sinful pleasure hidden away. Ice cream. In the early morning, you dig out a big scoop. But just as you were about to bring it to your beak, there's a knock at the door. You open the door to see Idita, the neighbor's young daughter, holding a thick stack of leaflets. With a resigned sigh, you say,
You know it's not even 5 in the morning yet, right, kid?
The girl simply bats her eyelashes before letting out a sly smile. But you're a nocturnal library, right? You sigh and take out a leaflet, the giant cautionary slogan domineering your view and reminding you to avoid harmful sugar. You're reminded of the pamphlets stuffing your mailbox, inviting you to take part in neighborhood meetings every week, where discussions how to expel dessert shops from the neighborhood. Now all of that around will take place. You suddenly realize why this house was so cheap. No ordinary Lateran could tolerate living next to these insane dentists who wouldn't stop talking about fluoridated toothpaste.
Want something to eat before you go, Idita?
Thanks, but it's not gonna work on me. I won't be tempted by the evil desserts in your fridge.
That's not it, Idita. I thought you still didn't fully understand your enemy.
You wink as you stuff a carton of ice cream into your hands. Idita's orders. Kid's toothbrush. Man, I want Idita to meet Hibiscus. I feel like they get along. But at the same time, I'm kind of scared what kind of food they make. Idita's order, kid's toothbrush. It's now midnight, and you're still enjoying your sinful ice cream without a care in the land. Suddenly, you wave a wave of knocking hammers at your door. You open it. Honey or agave? You see Idita, her face covered in tears. Her mouth opens wide due to her weeping, and you notice that where her two incisors should be, there are only gaps. Being punished all because of your liquid ice cream. My teeth fell out. You sigh and hand her some tissues as you try to console her.
No, you're just at the age where you get new teeth, Idita.
Teeth falling out is a punishment. The original sin of the sancta is loving dessert. No matter what you say, she does not stop wailing. Her tears do not stop either. As if her eyes are broken faucets. It's not long before the wastebasket is full of soggy tissues.
What's it gonna take to make you stop crying?
I don't know either. Right now, it's just my teeth falling out. What if my halo gets cavities next? There's nothing you can do to make you feel better. Just give up.
I've got a new flavor ice cream in my fridge. Want some?
Yeah.
If you have some, will you stop crying?
The girl sobs as she opens the carton of ice cream. In your heart, you smirk. What sancta could resist the allure of sweet ice cream? No one. That's who.
All your teeth will fall out eventually, you know.
I mean, all your teeth will fall eventually, you know.
That's not gonna work on me. I don't have teeth. I grind my food with gastroliths.
Idita's order, the price of sweets. Late at night, you open the miniature fridge under your bed, only to discover you've already eaten all your ice cream. All that's left is a lonely salad. Aw. You sigh and open it up, but then a familiar chain of knocks raps against your door. You open the door, but rather than To be expected is your neighbor holding a thick stack of leaflets while inviting you to participate in the next week's neighborhood meeting. You take a leaflet, noting that it is no longer about how to stop desserts from entering the neighborhood, but rather a joint discussion on how to help Adidas spread the good word of sugar-free ice cream across all of Laterano. Your neighbor proudly chats with you about the girl in question. Say thanks to my girl inventing sugar-free ice cream, Laterano will finally receive salvation. Whoever gave her this revelation, may fluoridated toothpaste bless you. You give an embarrassed smile, saying you'll definitely attend if you have the time. After sending off your neighbor, you return to your desk and prepare to eat your dinner. But once more, you're rudely interrupted by a more knocking on your door. You open the door to see Adidas smiling a gap-toothed smile. As the one who gave me the revelation of sugar-free ice cream, would you like to make an investment?
Absolutely not, little girl.
Then, would you like to try some? You know the leafy greens in the carton have no vinaigrette on them.
Yeah.
I like how Adidas' first reaction is, after saying thank you, is, Can you give me money so I can make more ice cream? No? Like, sorry, Adidas. I'd rather buy my regular ice cream, my usuals. And now for the notebook. Starting with Broken Lens. Broken Lens. The gun is made of...
Hey, Misaki.
Yeah?
Got a question. How was doing for you?
Anduin, I kind of feel bad for him in the end just because what he saw was not the future. What he saw was the past. And he would have known that if he just stuck with the matriarch. If he continued walking with her, he would have seen the same exact vision. But no. Like, come on, dude. The last 10 years of his life was a lie.
There's one thing that is constant to the man that is Anduin, a fanatic that he is that his desire for deliverance, to rescue, liberate, save from danger, evil, or a painful experience. Even then and now, is that his desire are pure. His steps are human, never a linear path that he took. And that purity never changed despite the adversities and hardships he has experienced. And the truth that shook his core and his faith, he still remained true to it. But do I still consider him a foolish man? Yes. Yes, he is. For you, would you consider him the same? A foolish man?
Yeah, the whole 10 years thing, like, oh my goodness. Like, sheesh, just sheesh. Ruining all those relationships with people. All for naught. So heck. If Anduin goes up on another journey all by himself, I hope the next time Padia sees him, she bonks him. But she is so loyal.
Do you want to... For you... Do you want to still see him again? For me, I see a potential between him and Herda, to be honest. It'd be a rather interesting dynamic if they manage to cross paths.
Okay, that'd be fun to see. Seeing how they interact. And now for the notebook. Broken Lens. The gun is made, days of work done, you curl up on the sofa and shut your eyes in slumber. You dream of when you were small, on the road to the holy city as mother walked and walked, with you in her arms. Afraid to look at anything, you listen to your surroundings, hearing talk of malice in small towns, frightening roars from the forest, as well as shrieks and screams of people being killed by robbers on the barrens. You tremble nonstop, burying your head under your mother's wings fruitlessly, in an attempt to block out the sounds until an ear-splitting gunshot sounds. Soon there was only silence around you, and you begin to calm down. You lift your head from your mother's arms and turn 180 degrees to see a halo with a long gun smoking underneath it. You realize at once Laterano lies right up ahead. Empty case. The gun is made, days of work done. You curl up on the sofa and shut your eyes in slumber. You dream of when you were young, when you got into the gunsmithing program under a teacher's recommendation with your excellent grades. In school, everyone regards you as the best, but no one ever considers that you will become the best gunsmith among your peers after graduation. In class, your magister tells you, Paganini, if only you were a Sancta, you would understand it even better what I talk about. A classmate tells you, Paganini, oh, I forgot you're not a Sancta, it's fine. I'll just repeat it. You don't know how to respond. You can only smile in return, then look down at the scattered parts on the table. Your magister once said assembling a gun is a profound language on its own, and perhaps you may not comprehend what these Sanctas are talking about. To understand these parts, you are a master of talking to guns. Empty frame. The gun is made, days of work done. You curl up on the sofa and shut your eyes in slumber. You dream of the day when you finally open your workshop. It's just an inconspicuous shop in an inconspicuous corner of Villa Borgos, but you're incomparably content that you have it all. Your life is inextricably connected to guns. They saved you, became your companions, and today, they're the pillar of your life. You're grateful for all that they have brought you. That day, you took a photo with Patricion. He holds that large caliber revolving antique gun and bears a foolish grin on his face. As Gil holds the camera, asking the both of you to tone your smiles down. So immersed in joy you two are. It's an impossible feat. You frame the photo just as you frame both Patricion and Gia in your future. Along with the guns, forever and ever. Empty sculpture. The final gun is made, your work is done. You curl up on the sofa and shut your eyes to sleep. You fail. After tossing about several times, you finally get up from the sofa in frustration. The workshop will be closed, and all relevant work will be taken over by the Shrine of Gunsmithing. Now, you're the only one in the workshop. There are no customers or apprentices, and finally, though the reality of the workshop's closure, guns have kept you company for your whole life, and you feel sorrow over having to part with them. You sigh in silence, sitting within the darkness, bidding farewell to the workshop you poured so much sweat and tears over. Right now, you have much to say. Unfortunately, a knock on the door interrupts your thoughts. You do not want to pay it any mind, but the man dressed like a functionary walks right in.
Hello? Anybody home?
Hey, Amos. Workshop key. Early morning, a ray of sunlight shines through the workshop window, reminding you it's time to put an end to your work and leave. You put up the key, get to your feet and exit, close the door, and walk out of the dark into the warm sun. It's nice learning more about Paganini. And then to see the other stages. The Garden of the Sancta.
Zion. I was Patricion for you, Misaki. He was a rather, let's say, opposition towards the story.
He was an old man stuck in his old ways, believing what he thought was right for everyone, which pushed so many people away from him. Like his bestie, Paganini, his childhood friend, started to dislike him.
That some of it is true.
I just think it's kind of
For
funny
me,
how, like, for some
I think it
reason...
also stems from his desire to connect. But-
True.
But also that this lifestyle he has, it was the only thing he knew. You know how. The only thing he believes in. I think it was also an excuse to not take that step forward. In some way, he does not have the courage to take that step of things that truly matter. Uses the law as an excuse for that.
The thing I find funniest about him, though, is how everyone around him ends up being so angry. Paganini angry, Aurela angry, Amos silently angry, and then Fiametta or spicy fried chicken. Like, dang, Gramps. So learning that he was supposed to marry Ia, it's like, oh, that is so harsh. I can see why Paganini feels that way about him. And heck, I see why Aurela hates him too. It's like, you were my master. And you don't even give your blessings to my man. Just, oof. But now, we can have him as an operator, so he's gonna learn more about the world. And I wonder how it's gonna feel for Fiametta, guys. It's like, this is my grandpa. He's gonna be going on missions with us from now on. I don't mind him. Don't mind Grandpapa. Sheesh. He didn't truly understand empathy outside the Sancta, even within the Sancta, like for Aurela. Poor Aurela. And hello, hello. Thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went by well. Right now, looking at the extra descriptions for the stages for Arknights event. The Garden of the Sancta. An ecological part in the lower levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. The myriad creatures here hail from deserts, jungles, seas, and mountains. They've all become Sancta. All of sweet dreams. A nursery in the tower. The nursery in the lower levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. Every night, 10 millions of children fall into dream here. Their shared dream melts together in the air, enough to ensnare anyone awake. Dining Hall of the Sancta. A dining hall in the lower levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. As it takes several hours for the food to reach the upper levels, the shrine chefs have developed the most advanced techniques on Terra to keep the food fresh. Foul Beast's Perch. A balcony on the middle levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. Above the sea of clouds, it provides migratory foul beasts a place to rest on their journey. They arrive with drab feathers and leave with halos of light. Saint's Prayer Room. A region of the middle levels of the Shrine of Nurtury, where the matriarch contemplates. Here, statues of every saint in the history of Laterano stand. They hang their heads towards the matriarch in prayer. Distillery of Faith. A functional structure on the upper levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. The countless prayers of the Holy City hears every day converge here, and after flowing through the tangle of piping, they're distilled into the foul sky. The First Nursery. A functional structure on the upper levels of the Shrine of Nurtury. The very first nursery built here. The shrine, grand as it is, began as a thought, a simple cottage. Ooh, a cute visual novel from one of your favorite devs. What was it called? I love visual novels. Puzzle of Laterano. Looking down from the shrine's peak up above the clouds, the city of Laterano looks like a miniature jigsaw puzzle. The matriarch need only move her finger, and the appearance of the entire city will change. Now rest in peace. Like, hey, apple pie. Desert Expo. The fruits of Lateran passion, adoration, and ingenuity, an immense spread of innovative desserts are displayed at the Annual Dessert Expo in explosive fashion. Nationwide parade. Today, every Sancta will pick up their patron firearms with pride and walk along the streets. Their minds are fixed on joining the parade, where empathy ensures that they will march in sync. Oops, I meant to go, not that. So, 2. Preaching practice. Sermon directed at the unfaithful are never going to be put to use in a cozy church. The Curia conducts preaching training sessions so that the preachers will learn how to work their craft even in the most extreme environments. Summit of Nations. The arrogant who once sneered at the Summit of Nations for being unworthy of the name now regret not having a way to atone. Number 5. Sacrament of the Law. The first saint of Laterano did not arise from any ceremony, but it is she who bestows divinity onto every Lateran rite. I like how it went from silly dessert expo to Sacrament of the Law seriousness. Now to apple pie. I want to eat apple pie right now. Yummy. Her beauty will pop out. I'm staring at the others too. Oh, you have your squad. Oh, there she is. Look at her go. File. Basic info. Code name. Exia. Not apple pie. Gender. Female. Combat experience 6 years. Place of birth Laterano. Date of birth December 24. Right before Christmas. Cute! Oh, no worries. At least we have our apple pie. Race, Sancta, height 162 centimeters, infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam, physical strength standard, mobility excellent, physical resilience standard, tactical acumen excellent, combat skill excellent, Originium arts assimilation standard. Profile. Apple Pie is a citizen of Laterano entitled to the rights listed in clauses 1 to 13 of the Laterano Constitution. She has provided communications and armed escort services to Rhodes Island during the contract period. On her request, registration has been updated to reflect her current status as a veteran employee of Penguin Logistics, and owner-founder of Apple Pie Logistics in Laterano. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear and normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Apple Pie shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.13. Operator Apple Pie sometimes delivers packages with originium content, but does not cause infection to date. Archive File 1, St. Theodore's Comprehensive School Board Meeting Minutes. Ultima claims that Lemuel accidentally burned her middle school diploma in Lungmen, and that she was forced to complete the university prep course in high school. The graduation ceremony she held for herself before she left the Holy City had a significant impact on the school's order and the public security responsibilities of the pontifical cohorts. However, we were all witnesses to the excitement that day. When she hacked 100 confessionals and had them charged into the campus to join her performance, there is no doubt that Lemuel submitted an outstanding final project. Considering her grades and respect for her ceremony, the board has decided to request permission from the Curia to issue her a graduation diploma. Apple Pie was born to an ordinary family in Laterano. Normally, she would have completed her prep course and gone to university, studying intercity net security or faith-assistive engineering. In other words, lived a proper, fulfilling life like millions of her Lateran brethren. That is, if she had not left Laterano at the age of 17. In order to discover the truth behind Lemuel's injuries, she followed the newly appointed Legatus Mostima out of the Holy City. For the next 2 years, Mostima avoided directly meeting Apple Pie, perhaps because she had yet to recover from the trauma of becoming fallen, or perhaps she was simply unsure how to approach the sister of her friend. However, they never cut off their relationship completely, and traveled the sands of Sargon and the salt flats of Iberia, through one city after another until they arrived at Lungmen and met Penguin Logistics. Apple Pie always speaks of this with an air of life outside Laterano is so much fun, as though she had simply gone to an amusement park. But we all know how difficult the adjustment can be for Sancta leaving the holy city for the first time. Away from her kin, her empathy and sigma creditorum useless, and her living habits decidedly out of place. When she got her job at Payment Logistics, she began meeting many new people and dealt with things that she could not have imagined before. The changes that occurred in Apple Pie's life may pale in comparison to the tragedies that take place on Terra every day. Will be more than enough to turn the faith of a former denizen of paradise upside down, yet Apple Pie has never changed. He always has a bright smile on her face, is always confident while shouting, guaranteed success, and is unafraid of adventure even while far from home. Archive File 2, Apple Pie Logistics? Hello, hello? Croissant, grab Apple Pie and tie her to the sofa. I gotta check if that light bulb on her head it's gone blown a fuse. Emperor. No, the boss isn't actually angry. Just look at his face, half smiling and half worried. He still has her employment contract, which means Apple Pie Logistics is just an affiliate of Penguin Logistics. He couldn't be happier that his employees are conquering new territory for him. As for why he's worried, well, she'll certainly have less time to help plan his parties for him. Laura. Yes, I saw Apple Pie cooperation between the Truckers Union and a new logistics company sponsored by the Lateran Curia can only be a good thing for both Nuovo Volsini and Laterano. Yes, she said her real goal was to keep her friendships alive forever by working together. And yes, I signed the memorandum. Of course, she's not heartless. No one's more sensitive than her. To her, positivity is both an instinct and a responsibility that she subconsciously places on herself. She feels like she has an obligation to make everyone around her happy. She may have been one of the last to join Penguin Logistics. She's also its heart and soul, Texas. Aw, that's sweet. The heart and soul. The law, faith, everything in Laterano changed after that incident. The people who remained had enough on their hands already. Dealing with the truth and rebuilding the Holy City's order, there's even more trouble brewing outside. For all its efforts in the First Summit of Nations, Laterano was only able to convince a limited number of factions to accept its proposal. And now, when all eyes are on it, it's even more important that it's not turned away. It needs more channels of communication with the outside, an international logistics company. For example, that was how Apple Pie Logistics was born. As for why Apple Pie? Setting aside the fact that she is the sister of the Cardinal, she has a background in logistics. And at a time when the concepts of angels and demons are being re-examined, who better to play on the role of ambassador than someone who was wearing an infectious smile? I mean, can you imagine Federico or Orin on the job? Mosima. Maybe Croissant is too busy right now to leave a note. She has a business after all, and if Apple Pie is making a logistics company, oh yeah, she's definitely working some stuff out. Be like, yes, please. We need more money here. Archive File 3. The first time I clearly felt a change was about to come over me was the day I spoke for the first time. You were next to my bed, fending off my attempts to play tug of war with your hair, and betting on what my first words would be with our parents. They kept updating their guesses, and were even noisier than the comfort bell on my crib. Do you guys remember your first words? I was told that my first words were mum, which is food. A slang for food, so I'm like, of course! Dang. My motivations always were food. Food. Only food. It's not mom or dad or grandma or grandpa. It's food. Feed me my hunger. Damn it, child. From time to time, you would interrupt them to ask them for a milk bottle or a baby toy. The sight of their bright eyes staring at me made me a little uneasy, so I turned my head and met your gaze. You were too close, and your pink eyes looked a little blurry. Then I started feeling emotions that didn't belong to myself. It took a long time for me to realize that it was flirtation. you as much of it as our parents. We were also a little uneasy, a little doubtful. To you, I was a stranger in the family. That was when I felt the urge to say hello to you and tell you that we get along great. What a strange and wonderful feeling. The next instant, I heard my own voice say, "Sis." And this light began to appear above my head. Aw, she loves her sister. The first time I really felt that I needed to become strong was the day I picked up my patron firearm. Master Peg put the assembled gun in my hand, and we took a picture together in front of the saint statue. When the shutter was pressed, I shouted excitedly, "I want to have so many adventures." Then I noticed that it made you clutch your rifle tighter. I remembered that I had skipped class the day before to fly a kite on the top of the basilica when I accidentally caused an explosion, forcing you to leave your end of the school year ceremony to pick me up. You must have given yourself a little more responsibility when I yelled at Wish, and I didn't want to make you worry. The first time I felt the change in Sancta empathy after the calamity was when I was playing Super Music Tycoon with the boss. We were in a heated match when I suddenly felt an incredible wave of emotions come over me. Next thing I knew, I was standing up and I flipped the board over. The boss yelled at me for being a sore loser, since he was only a few steps away from winning, but then he suddenly looked shocked and asked why I was crying. It's a little embarrassing to say this, but I think that was the first time I ever cried in my life, even though I didn't know why. Later, I found out that it was the first time you managed to walk a full circle around the room at the hospital in Stavonis without using any drugs or devices. It meant your therapy was going to succeed, and that you go back to living a normal life one day. You were happy for yourself, and at that moment, I truly felt how hard things had been for you, and how precious life was. Lungmen is so far away from Laterano, but our empathy still worked, something we couldn't even imagine before. In most cases, our empathy was a lot less distinct after the calamity, but my empathy with you, our parents, and my Sancta friends seems to have grown much stronger. And it isn't even limited by distance. Which is why I'm starting to get worried, sis. What if you start to feel bothered by me? Archive File 4. Apple Pie gave the HR staff handling the case a considerable shock twice. The first thing she did when she returned to Rhodes Island was not to try and set a new light gun shooting record with Operator Austa, but to deliver a gift to Rhodes Island on behalf of the Lateran Curia, the automated confessional Confess 47. When the HR operator learned that she had played a large part in the improvement of these confessionals, her proposed upgrades helped her earn first place in her faith-assistive engineering class during her university prep studies at St. Theodore's Comprehensive School. Confess 47 showed us the place where her signature could be found on its chassis, which is also present on all the other confessionals from the same batch, a reward from the Lateran Curia. Before HR could recover from the shock of meeting Apple Pie the engineer, she began talking about the process of improving the confessionals. It's complicated. What's the optimal size? Too large, and the feeling of the privacy is lost. Not to mention the negative impact on traffic. Too small, and it gives people claustrophobia. How smart should systems be? It can't be too serious, but too many entertainment functions, and I feel like some weird fancy karaoke box. Should the internal furnishings be distinct from the traditional confessionals? Imagine our friends in the city having to go into the car from time to time, confessing their sins or seeking comfort from something that doesn't actually exist. Basically, a bunch of secrets that are hard for someone to say out loud, but which they have to let out. They should feel that a weight's been lifted from their shoulders when they walk out of that car. Drawing the blueprint was the easy part. I spent a lot of time talking to people and visited practically every church in Laterano, bothering both the priests and the layfolk there. Anyway, take good care of Confess 47, and I'm sure it'll take good care of you. It may be blasphemous, but in my opinion, faith-assistive equipment like automated confessionals and Halo Wing calibrators aren't like taking medicine for a cold. For just by using them, your faith is suddenly unshakable and your understanding of the law complete. They're more like prayer. Prayer by itself doesn't do anything. It's the process that really matters, giving us an opportunity to think of one another. The design and use of faith-assistive equipment is the process by which we strengthen our faith. The result has never been what's important. Apple Pie's proposal on improving automated confessionals. I recommend that the Curia increase investment in faith-assistive engineering. The young people are coming up with all sorts of novel ideas in the field, and Laterano needs to keep their creativity vibrant. Besides, now more than ever, we need both prayer and confession. Now, now that they are, now that the very foundation of our faith has been turned upside down. Conversation between the Pope and the Cardinal of the Fourth Tribunal. In an afternoon cactus tart session in late 1101. Promotion record: clouded bacon apple pie. Step 1: soften butter at room temperature. Step 2: mix the softened butter with flour and sugar. Step 3: mix with water and knead into dough. Note: these 3 steps may take some time. Starting at 8 p.m. in Lungmen will allow you to catch LGD shows on primetime TV while you work. Start around 4 p.m. if you're in Laterano. That's when impromptu explosions typically happen, making for good background music. Step 5: cut the apple into small pieces and saute with sugar. Note: whatever amount of sugar that other recipes call for, add 4 times as much. Only twice as much if there are any friends who need to watch their sugar. Celebs like Sora who need to watch their figures. Step 12: shape the pie crust by hand. Note: a gun stock can be used as a rolling pin, if cleaned. Using different types of gun stocks results in different thickness. It says, I have a lot of guns, which is why my apple pies have so much variety. I've never told my 2 bosses a secret. Step 20: bake in an oven for 25 minutes. Note: there's no need to keep watching the oven while the pie bakes, but overbaking affects the texture, so plan your activities accordingly. Last time I took the chance to run a delivery from the ends of the earth to the slums and resolved a conflict between 2 small gangs, which was pretty much a limit. Step 23: pray and tuck in. I want her full recipe, come on. I would make it. Oh, will. And now for... Oh my goodness, is that a slot machine?
Baily now has a position of ambassador for other nations, while starting a branch of Penguin logistics of business in Laterano. Mostly my side, she would be the most right person to have that position. Now for me, this alone suggests that Exia has the potential to meet Wizardel in Castle when it comes to official matter between nations. Since Wizardel is also the speaker / ambassador for Castle, you wouldn't think to imagine these two have so much in common.
I'm happy for apple pie. Look at her with her own logistics company. And I love the way she named it. But oh my goodness, this module. It's all luck? Lucky slot? Well, at least hers is on 777, so we know it. At least she's lucky. Convenience kit for new friends. The Sancta who calls herself the Wandering Judge pulls down her hood, her face indistinct. She keeps her voice low, teaching a hymn to the pilgrim next to her. The pilgrim is enthralled by it, not noticing that the high energy beat the Wandering Judge's finger is unconsciously tapping out on the steering wheel does not match the hymn. The hymn finished, the pilgrim looks to the beautifully decorated box in front of him. He believes this to be the holy relic described in his hometown's ancient legends. It was this relic that gave him a glimmer of hope earlier. Rubbing at the salt stains on his hands that refused to wash away, he pulls down the lever on the relic's side, hoping with all his heart that he awaits divine guidance. Oh, what a wonderful relic! He had thought himself forever out of reach of guidance. A few months ago, he, a library, sprouted a Sanctus halo out of nowhere. Everyone in his village believed in a miracle, and even the clerics of the Inquisition were astonished. Thus, he was sent on a pilgrimage to Laterano. But halfway there, he heard news that the Lord of Laterano had left. Not even the Sancta could receive guidance now. When the vehicle carrying the holy relic appeared before him, he had already abandoned the road to Laterano, yet as he was also unwilling to bring such bad news back to his hometown, so he decided to wander the wilderness aimlessly on a false pilgrimage. Sitting in the vehicle, he looks at the box enraptured, asking question after question as he tries to confirm if this relic really could provide guidance. After an uncomfortably long silence, he receives affirmation. The self-proclaimed wandering judge of Laterano had been offering guidance in the Lord's stead since he departed. The pilgrim follows her instructions to the letter, and after he has finished piously operating the relic, he sidles over, carefully examining the 3 symbols that appeared atop of it. A moment later, she passes on the Lord's guidance. The Lord says you should put an ice cream cone in the hand of every statue in Pagus Mycelion today. Oh, he's being pranked. The pilgrim thinks back to the myriad possible answers he imagined he would receive as he traveled the road. None were as strange as this. No, you must be mistaken. How could the Lord's guidance be so... At least ask me to do penance, or toil, or even bring supplies from Laterano back home. The wandering judge suddenly lifts her head, giving the pilgrim a fervent nod. Oh ho! You passed the test, you see? You knew what to do all along. What? Ahem. These are the mysterious ways the Lord must work through ever since he left. Believers must look at this nonsense and divine the true guidance from within. And you already know what you must do. He can help you buy supplies, introduce you to a logistics company to transport them. Oh, this is her way of getting business. Smart. The pilgrim looks at the relic, at the wandering judge, then at himself in the rear view mirror, his burden eased. No, thank you. No, thank you. Handling it myself will be part of my penance. Muchas gracias, wandering judge. Never mind. The pilgrim watches the wandering judge drive away into the distance. Amidst the kicked-up dust, he sees the judge stretch her body out of the roof of her vehicle and take off her hood. Her hair is red as flames, fluttering in the wind. A moment later, she sings to the wilds, her voice sending a high-energy beat, quite unlike a hymn to the pilgrim's ears. I'm real lucky I got that pocket slot machine from the second-hand store. Apple pie, thanks. Wonderful. Convenience kit for new friends. I love that one guy's just like, what? I passed the test? Yay!
Overall event for you, Misaki.
It was a fun event. Like, it was nice getting to learn more about Laterano, especially.
Was there someone that took your attention? For me, it would be Anduin.
In the end, because of all the things against him, Patrizion. The way he was set up as one of the big, well, not really antagonists, but walls to overcome. And how he's our freebie. Like, how did that happen? The change. Gosh darn it, old man. I guess we can't hate you. Too funny.
How was Exia for you in this event?
I like how she stayed true to herself. One of the first ones to break out of the dream. Like, I'm happy for her. Well, she got to meet up with her sister guys.
For me, I think if I were to describe Exia, Laterano is like have a huge wall, huge white blanket surrounding its city. And Exia is like the hand that tucks that blanket away. Basically, the morning clock, so to say, with her explosions and personality. But also the needle that pops the bubble. That is Laterana.
She also feels like an ideal modern day Sancta. And good for her. I'm glad that it was a happy ending in the end. Like, what I was expecting was a lot of silliness just because of the event currency.
They're the most. Were there any surprises for you and things to look forward from here on out? For me, I think I think during this event was Enfield actually decided to release some of its releases during this event, which is quite another another well-timed thing to considering the things that was revealed here and the events that took place. I think they also and the thing that also surprised me was for Priestess showing up, even though the indications were there. I like Priestess after all. Uh, Even though she's in opposition, I consider her a potential.
Definitely a potential. I'm so curious what's gonna happen later on since more people are gonna start being born with halos.
So for next week, I'm available at Monday. I won't Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will not be available Tuesday and Wednesday. We will only have 2 streams for next week to cover the entirety of Crimson their educated strategies. Number one.
Like if it's 2 streams, then Friday, Saturday works
We will
out.
start off the operators that you saw in my squad.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday sounds good. So dang, the boys are so pretty.
And since we still have time, go to integrated strategies and go to exhibit Crimson exhibition.
This one?
Sorry, I was still on gameplay.
Oh yeah, no
I need
worries.
to abandon my playthrough in the IS5. Wait to go to cancel it. It's okay.
No, it's okay. We'll keep that for later. Don't want to ruin the run. Especially since so much RNG is involved in that. Like, oh, it is pain.
Don't worry, I was actually just beginning.
Well, that's okay. So the next week it's gonna be next integrated strategies, Friday and Saturday. So that's gonna be fun. Especially since Phantom is such an enigma. Truly a phantom.
But the events that took place in Crimson Solitaire is on year 1097. So
Ooh.
the next event after dying
Arknights.
will most likely in the year 1101 from here on out, since we're now caught up in terms of years of age.
Hey, hello.
For the stream, truly enjoyed it.
It was fun. And I logged back into my account so I can farm later on. Good luck with your run. Oh, so much good luck.
Difficulty on my current run is actually got difficulty 15. Just if you are curious.
Oh gosh. Super good luck.
時間をかけるつもりはない。
Just so you know, at the beginning, my OP operators, they feel like it's like VTubers in the beginning, which is kind of tricky.
Sheesh.
Even the monk feel like have a boss like HPs.
That is terrifying. Truly boss level mode.
Look. So after this, you are now fully caught up when it comes to integrated strategies content.
Ooh, that's great.
There's only few that can say that as a content creator in Arknights, since mostly play for gameplay.
Like, it's good to learn more about the lore. That I always appreciate. I'm glad we were able to finish the event tonight. Woohoo! I'll go off and
If
see.
you were a pa,
Oh?
let's say if your past self didn't encounter this kind of lore in intricate strategies, how would you feel to miss this kind of content? Knowing that you know.
That'd be a pain to, like, not go through those, but ooh, there's a lore book on pre-order right now. Oh man, I wonder how much that goes over the stuff that's actually in the game versus book only. Oh no. Dude, I gotta see how much that costs. That is tempting to order. Maybe next paycheck. Size. Shipping things is always a pain to Hawaii. We ain't got no free shipping for the most part. Oh well.
全員の行動力を奪う。それでいいだろう。
We end this stream. I also said my thoughts in Twitter. Check if you have the time.
Okay.
I've sent 2 Bilibili links AMPs. Pretty good ones.
Ooh. I'll check that out later on. After this, I'm gonna eat dinner. Need food after only having a bagel today. At least some sustenance before Arium tonight. So I'll go see what there is.
For the stream, Misaki. See ya next time.
See ya. So that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and epic gacha luck. I'm gonna go see what kind of food there is now. Need sustenance. Body need fuel. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. I'm kind of amazed how I lived off of a bagel and 1 glass of water. Yay for living.